waited. Now you made it to the greatest show on dirt. It's the monster.
Good evening and welcome to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, the site of our third and final Marvel Monster Jam event of 2024. I'm Scott Jordan alongside my broadcast partner, the 7 Deuce Deuce Adam Enticknap, and we're coming to you from inside our broadcast studio right here at Monster Jam World Headquarters. We'd like to thank all of you who've been tuning in from all over the world and watching these 3 incredible special Marvel Monster Jam live events. A lot of incredible things happen in Houston, but Adam, this is our final Marvel U.S. event of the year. No doubt each one of the 4 Marvel drivers want to go out on a bang, always want to win on top. And last weekend in Houston, Camden Murphy finally broke through, put the Marvel team in the win column when he took the JCB racing competition. Can he continue his momentum tonight?
Yes, I do think he can do that, and I think it's because the momentum started back in Glendale. You know, for Camden Murphy, he's rusty, and he admitted it. He hadn't been in the truck for a long time. He was teaching some of the other drivers, being an instructor, and he hadn't touched the truck since World Finals, and that can be a difficult thing sometime. And you could tell what happened at Glendale. He was rusty. But as they've gone on and as the competitions have gone on, Camden Murphy has gotten better and better, and you can see this save for the racing final win last week. He is on point and ready to go. And on top of that, man, has he had some amazing luck in Arlington.
Yeah, he has the highest winning percentage of any Monster Jam driver, 14-2 in his career at AT&T Stadium with 3 racing wins. We'll see if that continues tonight. The Marvel win column continued again last weekend when Jamie Sullivan earned her first career stadium competition when she drove Thor to victory in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Adam, it was a nice and much needed bounce back after she struggled with truck issues in Glendale. What do you expect from Jamie Sullivan tonight?
I expect her to try to focus on a different competition. She really got that box checked last week when she got the 2-wheel skills win, but I expect Jamie to focus on racing or freestyle this week and try to get one of those competition wins. Now, do I think that Jamie will win the overall event? That is going to be very difficult, but if she keeps her eyes on the prize and gets another competition win, who knows? The cards could fall in her favor. She has the talent. She is an absolute rising star in this sport. Jamie Sullivan is here to stay. Look out for the Thor driver. One
Marvel driver that could not get into the win column is Bari Musauer. He had to deal with truck issues in Glendale and then in Houston 1 week ago. Still couldn't seem to get over the hump. Had some issues there mechanically. What are Bari's chances tonight?
Well, Bari's chances are excellent if he can stay on the track. Anytime Bari's out there, he is a threat for an overall event championship win. Bari Musauer, same thing with all 3 of these Monster Jam drivers. They've just been struggling with things since the beginning. If Bari can get comfortable in this new truck, that, you know, all of these Marvel Monster Jam drivers have brand new trucks. They're just getting in. They have to figure it out. The technicians have to figure it out, see what's wrong with the truck. I mean, these are brand new, so they're trying to get used to them, and that's unfortunately the kinks I think Bari's working out.
And he's another driver with success here. He won the overall last time we were at AT&T Stadium back in March. Well, I wanted to ask those questions to the man himself. So earlier today, I got a few minutes with a Black Panther driver. Check it out. Hey, Bari, thanks for joining me today. Let's start off with the first 2 Marvel Monster Jam live events. You've had some struggles there. What do you feel has been the biggest issue for Black Panther?
The last 2 events really haven't gone the way I planned. Black Panther was ready, was 100% ready to go when we left the shop, but then we developed a magneto problem, which controls the timing on how and when which cylinders fire and what time they fire in. And that's been really, throwing us a curveball. We thought we'd had it practice day, it goes good, and then, when it comes to event day, the mag was spinning on its own, so it was doing like a variable timing thing with the motor. So I think we got it fixed, though, now here in Arlington. So we're going to give it our best shot here.
You won the overall here earlier this year. What would it take for you to win your second in a row with the world watching?
It's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take not making any mistakes. You got to be fast on the track. It's a really fun track. I love it. We just finished in practice. So you really have to be focused on making that berm, exiting the berm in the right spot that you want to be in to set up for that next turn, and then power down that straightaway, and then nice and tight, carrying your momentum into the last turn, and then full throttle towards the finish line.
You have driven Zombie and Black Panther in 2024. How has that experience been for you to represent these two large fan bases?
Oh, man, it's been amazing to be able to pilot both trucks. Black Panther internationally up until now, where we brought it here to the United States, but just being able to go overseas and see the universal appeal of all our Monster Jam fans for Zombie and Black Panther, it's been amazing. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Always a pleasure to talk to Bari. So, Bari, thanks a lot for spending some time. And I do want to point out, ironically, for the Marvel fans, that Magneto has been giving Marvel characters issues for years on another end. Let's go to the driver lineup for tonight's competitors at AT&T Stadium. New faces, Weston Anderson takes over Gravedigger tonight, three-time series champion. Adam, what can fans expect out of Weston and Gravedigger 42?
I mean, you said it in his intro, three-time series champion. This kid knows how to drive. He has the right last name to do it. And he's in Gravedigger 42. Not to mention, on top of that, he's going to be getting advice from his brother about this new truck. He definitely has a leg up. Watch out for Weston Anderson tonight.
The Pagliarulos are also here. Mike Pagliarulo, Excalibur, Nick, and Kraken. Pag's always excited to watch. What do you expect out of Mike and Nick at tonight's event?
Well, one thing comes to mind, and that is Nick's absolute wow moment in Orlando. It shocked the Monster Jam world. I still see highlights on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere from just that one jump. Nick is an amazing driver, and he will just absolutely send it to the sky and in the rafters. Nick Pagliarulo can do anything at any moment.
And all the Pagliarulos seem to do is win Rookie of the Year honors from generation to generation. Let's take a look at the event format tonight. Drivers will compete in 3 competitions. JCB Racing will kick it off, then we'll go to the Great Clip Skills Challenge, and then freestyle drivers will get points based on their finish in each competition. 12 goes to the winner, and the driver with the most points at the end of the night will be crowned overall event champion. It is time for Track Talk. Adam, you have been on this dirt many times in your Supercross career. This track, another hats off to our track construction crew, Dan Allen, Scott Olinsky, and just the innovative minds that keep putting this track together. But it looked exciting in practice. Tell our fans what to expect tonight from the dirt.
So well, I guess we're going to start out with the dirt there, Scott. Nice intro. I love that. The dirt here is absolutely amazing. This is the best dirt I have ridden on in Supercross. And why that is it has like a little bit of a fluffy top, but it also has a hard base. And one thing I love about the dirt here is all the riders in Supercross and the Monster Jam drivers enjoy it. And do you know what that means? When the Monster Jam drivers are having fun, the fans are having fun. These trucks are going to be absolutely sideways, just digging in the dirt, throwing so much roost off those BKTs, and you can give the truck a little extra. The track tonight here is very similar to what we had in Glendale. It's going to be a paperclip, but they're going to be side by side facing opposite directions, so it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch.
We're going to see that new racetrack come into play as the first competition of the night is JCB Racing. Last night in practice, it was Bari Musawar clocking the fastest time in Black Panther at 20.568. So Bari overcoming the issues already early in practice.
Yep.
Good sign for the racing bracket. Let's take a look at it right now. Round 1, he will square off against Caleb Blood and Sparkle Smash. You get a Pagliarulo matchup, Excalibur Kraken, Thor against Avenger, and the Amazing Spider-Man against Gravedigger, Jurassic Attack, Vendetta, Iron Man, Brutus, all getting those first round buys. 2 I want to focus on. First of all, let's go with Excalibur Kraken. Pagliarulo bragging rights right out the gate in round 1 up for grabs. We saw Mike Pagliarulo, when he drove Black Panther, looked incredibly fast. We've seen him in Excalibur win some races as well. Kraken and Nick Pagliarulo usually a superstar stud in freestyle. So what's going to happen here in this Mike versus Nick matchup?
Well, one of the things that I am looking at is you got 2 brothers racing against each other, and that's absolutely amazing for competition, and it's definitely going to be one to watch because I used to race my brother in Supercross, and there is nothing more competitive when you go to race your brother. For both these boys, it's definitely going to be bittersweet because one of the brothers will go on, and we'll get to see either Kraken or Excalibur move forward, but only one can move forward.
That's right, a lot of great matchups in there. I also love that Amazing Spider-Man Gravedigger matchup. We got racing coming up next. It is round one here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Stay right where you are. We're just getting started. More Monster Jam is next. We are back at Arlington, Texas. AT&T Stadium, tonight's home for Monster Jam live events. Thank you for everyone watching around the world. We talked about the racing bracket, talked about Camden Murphy and his racing record at the top of the show. Another driver that's won racing in this building is Chris Kohler.
Yes, and I've talked to Chris many, many times about this stadium, and it's by far the best stadium for him. And the reason that is because his truck setup. You know, he likes to go with a very stiff truck setup with a little bit slower rebound so the truck's not as reactive. Well, when you have loamy dirt like this, it really reacts well to that type of suspension setup. And Chris is one of those guys that works off of confidence. And let's talk about confidence. Last week in the Rod Ryan show, Chris Kohler, in my eyes, might have won if Gravedigger wasn't there, or should have won if Gravedigger wasn't there, and that was a real disappointment, I think, for a lot of fans. I mean, granted, Gravedigger did put on a phenomenal run, but Chris was right there, and a guy that felt so close to that win coming in next weekend to the track that he loves, he could be lethal tonight.
Well, there is Weston Anderson, speaking of lethal on the track. Nobody has done it better in their first 3 years of their Monster Jam career than Weston Anderson. He goes up against the Amazing Spider-Man's Camden Murphy in round one. That is a matchup between one of the best arena racers in the world, one of the best stadium racers in the world. That is a Goliath versus Goliath round one matchup. This track is phenomenal. When I talked to Scott Olinsky about it, he said that the drama builds right away. It's inches away from each other at the starting line. It's coming out of the berm first. It's getting a clean exit, being flawless through the chicane, and anybody that can get that type of pass is in good shape when it comes to crossing that finish line first.
Yeah, one of the things that I've seen that's going to be the most difficult tonight is that you're starting side by side, so you're going to know if you're late off the gate, and that's going to kind of put you in this mode of bringing up the intensity, bringing up a little bit of that anxiety of like, oh man, I got to pick this up. And that can be very scary as a racer, because when things like that happen, you tend to force the issue and make mistakes. And that's something you're really going to have to not do here tonight. Just be cool, calm, and collected.
We're going to go down to the track at AT&T Stadium for JCB Racing round one. It is going to be Sparkle Smash against Black Panther. So Bari Musawwir, Caleb Blood. Bari had the fastest time yesterday. We talked about that, 20.568. Weston Anderson with the second fastest time at 20.596. And then Camden Murphy checked in third with 20.631. So that should give our fans at home a good idea as to what kind of times are being recorded on this track. The gray lane did seem faster, did appear faster yesterday, so we'll see if that stays put. And Bari Musawwir in the gray lane here as well. So there is a great overhead view of the track at AT&T Stadium. Another huge floor. We saw this in SoFi Stadium. We saw it in Glendale. Yep. Houston a little smaller at NRG, but this is a wide open space, and I love that big giant LED screen. I'd love to get that in my house.
I would too. It is a nice wide open space, but because of the track layout, it's definitely a slight bit more condensed. But, just going back to this matchup between Bari and Sparkle Smash, Caleb Blood, for Caleb Blood, she's really been on a roll, and she's had a lot of momentum coming into these 3 rounds with Sparkle Smash, and she wants to keep that going. And unfortunately, when you meet the fastest driver in the first round, that can take away crucial points for the overall event championship. And Caleb Blood has been there at the end. She's getting the points.
And I'm going to stop you real quick, Adam. Bari has got some issues starting Black Panther. So everything looked great yesterday. We talked to him at the top of the show. You heard that. He thought they had everything set after skills. Last weekend in Houston, he thought everything was good, and it does look like he is moving at least off the track at this point. So he may be heading up back to the other side of He's going to be all right. He's going to head to the other side of the lane to get a good start. So Bari's going to avoid any major mechanical issues at this moment. He is moving, and he is going to head over to his lane to face with Caleb Blood and Sparkle Smash. So that's got to be a break for Bari Musawwir after he's got a lot to prove here tonight. And it's hard to say that a driver of Bari's magnitude has something to prove, but he's been very quiet so far in the Marvel US days. And I know a win would go a long way here for Bari Musawwir and Black Panther. So here we go. They are facing off right there. Bari Musawwir, Caleb Blood, inches away from each other at the starting line. And we are waiting for our first green light in AT&T Stadium in Arlington. It's JCB Racing, and here we go. We got a green light, and we got a race going on.
Caleb Blood pushes just a little bit wide and is going to have to make a wider turn in the second. Bari Musauer looks like he's just slightly ahead.
Caleb Blood zigzagging her way around the track. This is an incredible figure eight layout, a little reverse figure eight. Bari Musauer going to get the win. Look at the floater jump across the finish line. Bari Musauer takes the win. Take a look at the original super glue glued to the action replay.
And this is what I talked about just a few seconds ago. You know, Caleb Blood knew that she was a little bit behind, pushing wide in that first corner coming out of the berm. And what happened in that last turn, you know, this dirt is really fun because you're sliding all around, but, you know, it can catch you.
21.016 for Bari Musauer. We get the times up here first. So we're going to keep going on this JCB Racing bracket. It's going to fly by fast here in round one. If you're just joining us from home, we are in Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium. And here are the Pagliarulos. Mike Pagliarulo, the 2024 Monster Jam Co-Rookie of the Year, up against Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, the 2019 Monster Jam Co-Rookie of the Year. Their dad, Matt, won the Rising Star Award back in 2017. So the awards, the Young Superstar Awards coming up to the Pagliarulos, and maybe we'll see Brooke Pagliarulo next in line for Rookie of the Year or Rising Star Award. Kraken are going to back up, try to get the right angle on the starting line here. Out of Osteen, Florida, the Pagliarulos bringing Excalibur back into Monster Jam. And here we go. It is Mike versus Nick. And out of the berm first is Excalibur. He's going to hit the pod, though. That's going to slow him down.
Yeah, one of those things is Nick stayed tight and kind of slow on the power. Oh, there goes Mike. He's going the wrong direction on the track. I think he slid out. This one's all Nick.
And Nick Pagliarulo goes a little bit off to the race lane there. So Nick Pagliarulo didn't need to worry about that. Kraken is going to get the win. And in the battle of Mike versus Nick, it is Nick Pagliarulo. What went wrong with Mike?
It went wrong from the start. He over-throttled it coming out of that first berm, and then in the second berm, he knew he had to push it. He grabbed that pod, came down the straightaway. The track is definitely hard-packed underneath that base. Got on the throttle just a little too hard, and I think he said, you know what, Nick, you can have this one and take it.
And when we talk about this track, it looks like from above, and 21.670 is the time for Kraken. Bari Musauer still with the fastest time with 21.016. When you get an air review of the track, it looks like it's going to be a figure eight track, and we saw that track come into play years ago in Monster Jam, but you got to make a harder turn on this track. So It's definitely innovative and fresh, and it's a driver's track. I talked to some drivers yesterday after practice. They love it, and we'll see how it plays out to the racing bracket. But 2 races down in round one, 2 more to go.
Yeah, so one thing that I am looking at is that you come out of that first berm, so we're going off the start, you come out of the first berm, and the exit of that first turn is so crucial because if you hit the turn a little bit too hard and you let it go wide, you're going to bump right into that big pod, and that's not going to allow you to get around that next corner quick enough. So you have to try to stay tight coming out of the first turn, go a little bit wider, and then exit to the inside of the second turn.
Let's take a look back here. The first race of the night. Bari Musauer, Black Panther, Caleb Blood, Sparkle Smash. Lined up and ready to go. Off the line, Kayla looked like she was a little faster. Right up on the berm. There goes Bari. Nice angle coming out into that chicane.
Okay, look at how Bari exited that first corner so he could kind of drift that thing sooner and exit right at the end of that second corner. That was perfect coming so close to the pod. He pushes a little wide there, but you see Caleb Blood, she knew she was behind. She tried to push it a little too hard coming into that last corner and unfortunately spun out, lost her drive for the finish, and that was all Bari.
We just saw Excalibur get towed to the back here in AT&T Stadium, so something to watch throughout the rest of the competition. Excalibur having some early issues after being defeated in round one. We have Jim Kohler, Avenger, and we have Jamie Sullivan in Thor. Jim, a longtime veteran of Monster Jam. Jamie Sullivan about to enter her 3rd year of active competition, going into Sparkle Smash. Got a win last week, her first career stadium competition win, and the Great Clip Skills Challenge. She is no slouch at all on the racetrack. She has really stepped up her game in racing in 2024. Jim Kohler can beat you on any given night. And here we go, Jamie Sullivan. Jim Kohler advances to face Brandon Arthur in round 2.
Oh, be careful here, Jim. You drifted a little too hard, and there's that little bit of let off the gas by Jim that I was talking about in that second corner. He just pitched it too hard into the first.
He got tight on this corner, though. Jamie went deep on the other side of the track, and Jim Kohler just made that interesting. Jamie went really deep on that far side, gave Jim some room to come back, and we're going to take a look at a replay here of the finish line. But what a great race that was, Jamie Sullivan and Jim Kohler.
Ooh, it looks like Jamie Sullivan gets it by about a BKT. Thor takes the win.
Yeah, she left the door open there for Jim Kohler to catch up, and he came around, had a perfect corner in the red lane, and ended up making up some lost time, but not quite enough. 21.990 is the time for Jamie Sullivan. 21.990 puts her in round 2 against Ironman. Fastest time still of round 1, 21.016 for Bari Musauer. That may change here with this race. Camden Murphy, the amazing Spider-Man, against Weston Anderson and Gravedigger, the 3-time series champion, stepping in for his brother Adam Anderson, who's won 2 overall event championships in the last 2 weekends. But Camden Murphy, as you and I have talked about, so hard to stop on this Arlington dirt. 14-2 in his career, 3 career Monster Jam racing wins at AT&T Stadium.
Scott, this one's going to be a hard one to watch because, unfortunately, either one of these guys could take the whole thing, and it's a shame that one of them have to go out sooner, but what a great race to watch.
This is a World Finals worthy race right here, round 1, round 2, anywhere you want it, and we got green ready to go. We got a green light. Camden Murphy against Weston Anderson, and the amazing Spider-Man goes high on the berm. Weston Anderson spinning out. He's trying to drift this corner, and that's going to cost him.
But it is not over till the finish line. Can Camden Murphy stay tight here? Oh, he goes right next to the containers.
Final push here across the finish line. Weston Anderson gets the win. He had to come from behind this near side of the red lane. Looks lightning fast. He had it, and he lost it and then got it back. Weston Anderson, as we take a look at Spider-Man locked up a little bit. Take a look at the original Super Glue Glue to the Action replay.
Wow, Camden Murphy is going to be upset on the radio. Weston Anderson gave that one away, and Camden Murphy gave it right back. That last corner was the telltale.
20.342 to 20.742. Both of those would be the fastest times in round 1. So Weston Anderson goes from second in practice yesterday to fastest so far in round 1 of JCB Racing. He will move on to face Chris Kohler and Brutus, the driver you talked about that you like here in this racing competition. Weston Anderson coming out here with a statement in round 1, taking out Camden Murphy. If Weston Anderson pulls off a racing win here in Arlington, look out for the rest of the night. What a story it would be for Weston to keep the overall event championship in the hands of Team Gravedigger.
Yeah, and not only that, but those were crucial points that I feel like his biggest competition just lost. You know, Weston Anderson not only got a big win there, but he also put, I think, the guy that was going to win the overall event competition in the back.
There's the bracket for round 2. Jurassic Attack, Black Panther, Vendetta, Kraken, Iron Man, Thor, and Brutus up against Gravedigger. 4 will advance to the semifinals. The final 2 will meet square off for 12 points, the first 12 of the night, as we have the first of 3 competitions locked and loaded here. Round 1 was great. Round 2 coming up next. We talked about Bari having those starter issues. He is supposed to be coming up next. He is still having issues right now. So Black Panther, there's a great look right there. Black Panther, as our tech officials are out, 35 seconds on the clock for Bari Musauer to try to get Black Panther moving up to the starting line.
Yeah, and let's just talk about the Magneto a little bit. So, you know, what the Magneto does is it's going to push power to those spark plugs, and the spark plugs are going to kind of require it to start up.
But Adam, vibranium is the strongest metal in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not sure Magneto himself can even bend that, but I'd be...
Well, Bari's back.
All right,
Bari's back.
Bari's back. That's the important part. So Bari now twice has had a late start to the line, and he's got Dalton Widener ready to square off with him out of Knoxville, Tennessee, riding for Team Throttle Monster. Dalton Widener, who will make his Stadium Series debut on a championship platform next season. And I say next season, but we are just about 2 short months away from the Road to World Finals. Salt Lake City kicking off in Salt Lake City. Kicks off in the Delta Center January 3rd. And then we're going to bookend that with a trip to Rice-Eccles Stadium July 4th weekend. Get your tickets now at monsterjam.com. Book your trip to World Finals. We'll make history that weekend. And we're making history here tonight with the 3rd and final U.S. Marvel Monster Jam event. Black Panther advanced from round 1. He meets Dalton Widener in Jurassic Attack, the JCB Arena Racer of the Year. And it is Black Panther off the line and out of the berm first.
Oh, Dalton pushes just a little wide on that gray lane. Bari Musauer looks tuned in. Oh my goodness, what a slide for Bari Musauer.
Turned on a dime here, final turn for both drivers. Bari Musauer hits the brakes slightly, Jurassic Attack making a final push. Bari Musauer gets the air, another close finish, and we're going to fire up the original Super Glue, glued to the action replay.
Wow, I have a feeling there is going to be a lot of close finishes in this second round. The dirt is absolutely perfect. Nice and slippery for these Monster Jam trucks to just pitch around the outside. Comes away with a big win there for Bari Musauer on his way to possibly a racing competition win.
20.485 is the time for Black Panther, 20.485. That checks in now second fastest, just under Weston Anderson when it comes to drivers advancing into the bracket. So Bari Musauer goes from having issues starting the truck the first two rounds to recording the second fastest time of trucks advancing. So Bari, even though it takes him a little while to get to the line for Black Panther, he's still getting it done.
Yes, he is getting it done. But what I find very interesting, and this is what's so crazy and fun about motorsports racing on dirt, is that the red lane is all of a sudden has the two fastest times. Yesterday, the gray lane was where you had to be if you wanted a good time. Now it's the red lane. The track is shaping up. And these drivers, again, they have to rely on their technicians to, oversee the top side of the track.
Gray lane yesterday, if you wanted a good time, that's where you had to be right now. It's at Arlington or in the Monster Jam studio. If you want to have a good time, that's where you're going.
Absolutely.
We got Kraken Vendetta, two top independent drivers from two top independent teams. Team Throttle Monster against the Pagliarulo's team, Tom Fullery. Mike Christensen in Vendetta has had a little bit of experience here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. When you talk about careers of racing, this is his fourth start in Arlington as a 1-3 career record at AT&T Stadium. And Nick Pagliarulo had a great first round race beating his brother. So we'll see if Mike Christensen can take out Nick Pagliarulo and advance to the final. It's a semifinal round to get some revenge against Bari Musauer, Black Panther, who just took out his Team Throttle Monster teammate Dalton Wider. Kraken now edging up to the starting line. Nick Pagliarulo took the first part of the season off after welcoming a beautiful baby girl into the world. We saw his brother Mike driving Kraken for him, and now Nick is back, and Nick will be back next year. We'll have all three Pagliarulos, Matt, Mike, and Nick, driving in a stadium series for the first time all season long. And here we go, Kraken versus Vendetta, and Mike Christensen is looking good right now. So is Nick Pagliarulo.
Oh, man, Mike did such a great job by staying inside. He pushes a little wide in that second corner, but he's going to make up some time with that big motor down the straightaway.
You got to throttle the heck out of this thing on that straightaway. That's your chance to play catch-up here. And Mike Christensen going to get the win in Vendetta. Big race. Look at the finish for Kraken. And Vendetta advancing to the semifinals.
And it's just like last week I'm talking about how Mike, needs to get these adjustments made so he doesn't have these breakages. And this is the reason why right here. Mike Christensen is a fantastic driver. When that truck is on the track, look at what he can do.
Yeah, Mike Christensen gets the win. He is going to move on. So it'll be Black Panther and Vendetta. Our first semifinal matchup is determined. 21.582 is the time that gets Mike Christensen into the fastest four. We're going to move on to the other side of the bracket. We get our first look tonight at Brandon Arthur in Ironman, a young kid out of Ramona, California, former short course oval racer, MJU. And Brandon Arthur driving that Ironman truck on the International Series. He will meet his Marvel teammate, Jamie Sullivan, in Thor. And here's the thing with Jamie Sullivan. This could be her last race in Thor as she moves into Sparkle Smash. So she's got to win this to keep this Thor truck alive for her on a racetrack here, because this round here could be the last if she loses. And here we go, Thor out early, and Jamie Sullivan looking red hot here as she gets into that corner, but Brandon Arthur has caught up, and he goes tight, and Ironman has the lead.
Yeah, it looked like Brandon Arthur went a little wide, but it was nice for the apex coming out of the corner.
Look at
Brandon
the drift.
Arthur with a huge win.
Thor drifted way out too far, and Brandon Arthur getting the win, so Ironman going to advance to the semifinals. Take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Wow, that was just incredible the way that Thor in that last corner hit that thing. And Jamie just She just pushed it too hard. I don't know if she could hear Brandon Arthur on the other side of the track where he was, but she pushed it so deep into there, and you could tell by being on the brakes, you get no traction. So if you lock up those BKTs, you're just going to slide, and that's exactly what happened to Jamie. Went a little wide. Ironman takes the win.
20.833 is the time for Brandon Arthur. There is the bracket. One spot remains in the semifinal round. It is Black Panther, Vendetta, and Ironman all advancing, and we are down to our final second round matchup here at AT&T Stadium. There is Chris Kohler and Brutus. We've seen Chris already in Monster Mutt. We have seen Chris in the Rod Ryan Show. We get to see Chris and Brutus here as well. We've seen him in Northern Nightmare. He has driven 4 truck identities this year on that chassis. He's won freestyles in 3 of them, and we'll see if he can win a racing competition here. Weston Anderson, the 3-time Monster Jam Arena Series champion, youngest son from Dennis Anderson, the icon and creator of the legendary Gravedigger. And here we go. It is Weston Anderson and Chris Kohler, 2 of the young, rising second-generation superstars in Monster Jam.
Wow, Chris Kohler, way to set that thing. Oh, Weston Anderson grabs the pod on the exit, but drives really deep into the last turn.
And
Chris
goes
Kohler
way too far. He is on the other side of the track, and that is going to be a win for Gravedigger. Chris Kohler had the lead, pushed it too hard into that final turn, and goes all the way across to the other race lane. Gravedigger gets the win.
I would actually like to possibly correct you there, Scott. I don't think he pushed it too hard into the last turn. I think he lost his rear steer.
You can possibly correct me all you want. I make a living out of correcting you on TV. So
yes, you do. I don't know what's happening. I don't think the rear steer is working properly. We'll have to go down and see if we can get a report on that. But it looks like he is struggling to get that rear steer to work correctly.
21.047 for Weston Anderson. That means Brandon Arthur will get lane choice in that semifinal matchup. Barry Musauer has it over Mike Christensen in their semifinal matchup. So we have reached the final 4. There's the bracket for you. Black Panther, Vendetta, Ironman, Gravedigger. Your early thoughts through 2 rounds about this track, Adam?
It is very, very slippery, and I think it caught the drivers off guard is what's going on. I think they expected it to be a little bit more tacky, but what's going on is I think from practice yesterday and walking on the track and having all those people on the track, it's actually packed that surface down. So underneath that perfect loamy dirt layer is a very hard packed base, and the drivers are having a hard time judging how to slide the truck, how much to slide the truck. It's very slippery. You're going to have to be hard on the throttle, but you're going to have to ease it into the corners, and that's what's crucial.
A lot of activity happening on the track right now. We see Black Panther and Vendetta moving out to their race lanes to the starting line, but Brutus getting taken off. So
yes.
You may be onto something there, Adam. There may be a little more to look into for Brutus. That's a tough break for Chris Kohler.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2 more competitions left, but we know how much this weekend means to him as a competitor. You got a lot of eyes on you all around the world. We are live everywhere. Monster Jam live stream, the Marvel events, and you know Chris wants to come out after not winning freestyle last weekend in Houston. He'd love to win one here.
Yeah, but I think you brought up the perfect subject, and that's last weekend's freestyle. When you push a truck that hard, you don't know really what the breakages are because you don't get a chance to drive the truck after freestyle. So when you push a truck that hard like he did in the Rod Ryan Show last week, it's very difficult to kind of diagnose the truck if you can't drive it anymore and not know if anything's going wrong. So I know he did get to drive in practice, but sometimes these little gremlins, they happen the week before. You drive the truck once, it seems to be okay, and then all of a sudden you go out and it raises up and you're like, oh my goodness, why didn't we fix that? And so that's, I think, a slight problem that he's having to deal with.
Through 2 rounds, we've had an exciting racing bracket so far. It has come as a cost for a few different drivers as we've seen different trucks getting taken off into the back pit area to get worked on, and Great Clip Skills Challenge coming up next, so that may impede the availability of some of these trucks. They will have an opportunity to possibly push down further in the order, but at some point in time, the crews are back there trying to get the trucks ready, but you have freestyle you have to look ahead to as well. So a lot going on here. We got a great matchup. Mike Christensen against Barry Musauer, and we got a green light. The semifinals have begun, and it is Black Panther with the lead.
It looks like Barry had a really good tight turn, but Mike Christensen, he's going to use that motor to get down the straightaway. Let's see if he drives it a little too deep. Mike Christensen.
Barry hits the turn first. Barry up on the ramp first, and Black Panther crosses the finish line. Mike gave it a great go, a nice effort, but Black Panther gets the win. And we're going to take a look here at the original Super Glue glued to the action replay.
So you can see this was a very close finish, but it's been coming down to that last corner so many times. And Bari Musauer just executed just a little bit better by slowing down a little more, not being on the throttle too hard. Mike Christensen, I think, came in a little hot, tried to drive the corner harder, and he hit the throttle and kind of just spun out, lost traction that slight bit.
So 20.848 the time for Black Panther, a little slower than his second round time of 20.485. That brings us to our final semifinal matchup between Brandon Arthur and Ironman Weston Anderson in Gravedigger. First time these two have squared off. Ironman Gravedigger 1 will advance. It could be an all-marble final. And we are off and running. Final race in this round. Weston Anderson, Brandon Arthur, and Weston Anderson has the lead.
Both drivers take it wide in the first corner, but Brandon Arthur goes a slight bit wider than Weston Anderson.
He's got to tighten it up, get back in that race lane. Here goes the drift for Weston Anderson. Goes a little wide across the pot. He's got some room. And Gravedigger gets the win. Big air slap wheelie on the landing.
Wow, what a great effort from Brandon Arthur. Weston Anderson comes away with the win. And that's just such a harsh loss because both these drivers had such good corners, but Weston Anderson was just flat out that slight bit better.
So Weston Anderson makes it to the JCB Racing Finals, 20.472. He will get lane choice. So Weston Anderson getting lane choice over Barney Musauer in the final round. We are going to see Black Panther go up against Gravedigger. The racing title is on the line. Stay right where you are. The racing finals are next on Monster Jam. Monster Jam is brought to you by JCB, the official heavy equipment partner of Monster Jam. We are back at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It is the third and final Marble Monster Jam live event of the year. Black Panther beating Vendetta to move on to the finals, and then Gravedigger beating Ironman to move on. So it is Weston Anderson, Bari Musauer. The times in that last round, 20.472 for Gravedigger, 20.848 for Black Panther. So Bari's got a little time to make up to contend with Weston here.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of time, but Bari hasn't had a perfect run yet, and he knows what it takes to get it done. He had the fastest time yesterday. He knows what he has to do. Really, the biggest thing is between these two drivers, who can stay calm. That is going to be the difference. Who cannot make that mistake? Weston Anderson has made quite a few mistakes here, but he's made up for it and just stayed into the throttle. But in this last and final round, you're going against the two best drivers, and a mistake just isn't going to cut it.
Bari improves to 13-5 in his career at AT&T Stadium. 4 international racing wins in the 2024 season. Weston Anderson dominant on the Arena Championship Series circuit, and they are meeting right in the middle. Weston Anderson and Bari Musauer, Black Panther against Gravedigger.
Is that Black Panther?
That is not Black Panther. It doesn't look like Black Panther at all.
It looks like that's Mike Christensen.
Yeah, we got an overhead view here. So Black Panther, the issues may keep Bari Musauer out of the racing final. Vendetta gets the nod. A broken drive shaft for Black Panther. So the Gremlins continue to mount up for Bari Musauer, who is having a phenomenal bracket and putting everything together. And now it is Mike Christensen getting another go here in the racing final. And what an opportunity for Mike Christensen to come in here and win the racing competition. And, what are your thoughts on that? Because Bari was starting to put it all together. Now
I mean, Bari was flying, and it finally looked like he was in tune with the truck. Nothing was going wrong. Fortunately for Bari, a drive shaft isn't going to take long to fix. He should be back for two-wheel skills. But you're losing the opportunity to get that 12 points. And not only that, but you're losing the opportunity to kind of demoralize your competition.
Yeah, so the fans at home, we're seeing Vendetta come out. We're talking about a Black Panther because the Bari Gravedigger matchup. And now Mike Christensen pulling to the starting line. So Vendetta looking strong so far up against Gravedigger. The winner gets 12 points. And Vendetta, Gravedigger into that race corner, up out of the berm. Mike Christensen on a dime turns Vendetta around. He is into the straightaway, and here comes Weston Anderson.
Weston Anderson pushed a little wide and had just a little bit of sliding, but Mike Christensen goes wide in the last turn.
And since you called that finish, I'm going to take the replay.
Absolutely. Wow, what a close race. It all came down to the last turn again. Mike Christensen put his best foot forward. He just went a little tiny bit too wide in that last corner. Man, that gray lane sure is slippery at the finish line.
Weston Anderson getting the crap here, getting the nod, getting the win in Gravedigger to keep the Gravedigger train rocking here in October. Here is the replay. I got this one, my friend. Weston Anderson comes right off the ramp. Some nice air end over end. And there is Weston Anderson finishing strong. Great race between Vendetta and Gravedigger. Coming up next, we will hear from our JCB Racing winner. One competition down, 2 to go. Gravedigger's Weston Anderson is coming up next. We'll hear from our racing winner of Monster Jam. Monster Jam is brought to you by Great Clips, the official hair salon of Monster Jam. Here's your BKT overall event leaderboard after 1. Gravedigger gets 12, Vendetta with 11, Ironman 10, Black Panther 9, Jurassic Attack with 8 to round out the top 5. Right now, let's go down to the track at AT&T Stadium to KCG to hear from our racing winner, Weston Anderson.
At any point is a big deal. But you said earlier that this is maybe your 7th stadium event ever. So does that make this racing victory that much more sweet?
Absolutely. The only other time I've ever made it to the racing finals in a stadium, I had to race my brother and he whooped my butt. But that was not the problem today, baby. We took this Gravedigger to the top and we plan on taking it to the top 2 more times tonight. Arlington, you ready for some more?
These fans have been electric all night, and we've got a lot more action coming their way. Coming up next, it is the Skills Challenge. You've been crushing it on the Arena Series the last couple years. This is our opportunity to slow down a little bit. Is this where you're going to show off some of those arena skills?
You know, I'm going to try some stuff that's never been tried before. So, hey, all I got to say is y'all better have your cameras ready. It's either going to go really good or really bad. Hopefully it goes really good for me tonight. Thank you, Arlington.
Let's hear it one more time for your Monster Jam Racing winner, Weston Anderson, Gravedigger.
Weston Anderson off to a great start. Here is that final race between Vendetta and Gravedigger right here. Nice corner for Gravedigger. Gets into the turn. Mike Christensen, though, right here. Absolute dime on a turn here. And then Weston into the straightaway. Picked up some in the far corner.
Yeah, so right here, watch Vendetta. He just slides a little too far. Weston keeps it that little bit tighter coming out of that last turn. Drives the truck, creates that traction that he needs to get the win.
Weston Anderson gets the first 12 points of the night, starting it off in a great way. You know, big shoes to fill, obviously. Adam Anderson winning the first 2 overalls here in October back in Glendale and then into Houston. Now Weston steps in, and if Weston Anderson can fill in for Big Bro and win an event championship, really cements him. Not that he needs to be cemented anymore, but there's always that arena stadium contradiction that,
yes,
you know, some drivers that do great in arenas can't do it in stadiums. We saw Weston really put together a solid event at World Finals at SoFi Stadium. He can win in a stadium, he can win in an arena, but getting a racing win and an overall event championship this late in the year for him would really go a long way to pushing him even further in 2025.
Yeah, and to not only that, but I think it just gives him that little bit of boost to know when he gets to stadiums, because he will get to the Stadium Series, that he's going to have confidence when he comes, and he's going to be more consistent, and he's just going to be a better driver. The kid has an immense amount of talent. I mean, he's in Gravedigger. He's got the Anderson last name. He is so good at what he does, but he is young. You know, it takes a little bit of maturity. It takes time being with these better drivers. These guys that have been on these Stadium Series for a long time are hard to beat, and they know what they're doing. So Weston Anderson definitely gaining some confidence here.
One competition down, 2 to go. Up next, it's the Great Clip Skills Challenge. In this competition, you will see drivers get 2 attempts at their best maneuver on 2 wheels, or they could do a donut. We see that sometimes to avoid any major mechanical issues, or if your truck is on the verge of mechanical issues, you come out, you do a donut, you still get a score, and then you head back to the pits. Here's some of the moves you might see: stoppies, poppers, wheelies, bicycles, moonwalks. And for the first time tonight, fans in attendance at AT&T Stadium here in Arlington have the chance to score on the judgeszone.com format. Fan scoring, always a topic, a hot topic amongst fans, amongst
Very
drivers, and we've seen it go both ways here. But either way, you know, fans, it keeps them a part of the event. It keeps them involved. It gives them something to look forward to, and they become more invested in these competitions. They become more invested in it, and I think it makes for a great competition because drivers will see somebody go out. They'll do something, they'll get a 9. Now they realize, okay, this is what the fans are wanting. This is what I have to do, and it becomes sort of a game of top this.
Yes, it definitely does. But also, you know, as a fan, you don't want to see the same thing over and over again. So you see a lot of the time the fan scoring, and you're like, why did that happen? Why he did that better than that person did? Well, if you get a chance to be up first and do that move first, you're going to get a higher score when the crowd's already seen it before if you're after them.
Caleb Blood Sparkle Smash going to kick off the second competition, the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Sparkle Smash making a huge splash in Monster Jam. You like that? The Smash Splash. Making a huge splash in Monster Jam since its arrival at World Finals. Caleb Blood has won multiple freestyle competitions in this truck and just really taken Monster Jam over by storm. We knew this truck was talked about since it became a Spin Master diecast, and the question was not if but when it would come out here in real life, and Caleb Blood gets it done. And Caleb Blood, I think, the perfect driver to bring Sparkle Smash to life. And right out the gate, we're seeing a donut. Unless that was it. Some power issues there for Sparkle Smash. So right in the middle of a donut, Caleb Blood loses power, and that looks like that's going to do it. You only get one attempt at a donut. Here's the replay.
This is a not good night for Caleb Blood. You can see there's just a total loss of power there. Hopefully we can get a report for you guys on what happened. But Caleb Blood, you know, first round of racing gets knocked out. Now doesn't even get a full donut in two-wheel skills, assuming she's going to get a very low score here, not the point she needs.
She's saving it for freestyle, though, so that's one competition. And we'll see with the amount of trucks that were taken out and towed in the back. We may have a few trucks in this competition that aren't going to be able to compete. We'll keep you updated on that as we see our track crew coming out to take care of Sparkle Smash and see if they can get Caleb Blood's truck refired and off the track. Very busy night so far for our track crew. And there's a score of 3.688 for Caleb Blood and Sparkle Smash with the donut attempt. But getting back to that, very busy night for the track crew. We've seen them out there multiple times, trying, whether it's trying to refire trucks, trying to get them going, trying to take them off. And I think with the way this track is designed, it's only going to get a little bit more intense for those fine folks working back there.
Yeah, it's the third round, and it's back-to-back weeks. So it's definitely going to be a struggle, but it's good to see Sparkle Smash drive off under her own power. I'm not sure what that means in the back, what they're going to have to fix, but she did drive away.
Well, here is Excalibur Mike Pagliarulo coming out second. And Mike Pagliarulo now will be behind the wheel of this truck. And the thing I love about tomfoolery and how creative they are in bringing some of these trucks back into Monster Jam. You know, we've seen Excalibur. We know they have Michigan Ice Monster. They also have Recreation, which was a new design that we've yet to see in Monster Jam, but it looks cool as a die-cast toy as well. But they bring Excalibur back, and one of the technicians, one of the crew chiefs of that team is Charlie Pauken III, and his dad, Chucky Pauken, really made a name for himself behind the wheel of Excalibur. So to see that truck somewhat stay in the family, and Chucky has driven it as well, and possibly in the future we might see Chucky behind the wheel of this truck again. But just a great moment there, bringing that identity back to that team and allowing the Paukens to continue to ride with Excalibur.
Definitely some great homage being paid. See what he does for his first two-wheel skills.
Excalibur goes up now off the ramp into a nose wheelie. Goes a little too hard. And Excalibur going to end up on the roof just when we said it was going to get a little busier for the track crew out there. We see Mike come out, try for a nose wheelie, and we're going to take a look at the original Super Glue to the Action replay. Perfect landing, though.
Great landing, and one of the things I don't mind about that is, you know, he's not going to have any truck breakages. They're going to check the frame and make sure it's all good, but it rolled pretty softly. Here we go with the replay. He gets that 12,000-pound truck up, gets it balanced on those BKTs. Everything's going good, and he just lets the front end of the truck just over-rotate a little bit, grabs the front bumper, and once that bumper grabs, he has no traction. It lifts over the front of the truck, and he rolls on the hood.
We await the score. Fans liking what they see out of Excalibur. That's going to take the lead, 4.798. So even though rolled the truck over, Mike Pagliarulo takes the lead. 2 trucks down, possibly 10 more to go. Jim Kohler Avenger is coming up next to the Great Clip Skills Challenge from Arlington. We are back at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. You're watching Monster Jam Live. We are right in the middle of the Great Clip Skills Challenge. 2 trucks have gone in. We just saw Excalibur come out. Mike Pagliarulo over-rotated, ended up on the hood. He still has the lead, and there is a great look at Excalibur now coming off the track. So Mike Pagliarulo back on all 4 BKT tires. There's your updated leaderboard after 2 trucks 4.798 is now the score to beat, taking over the lead from Sparkle Smash, who got a 3.688. Power went out on that donut. If you're just joining us, it's the second competition. Freestyle is still to come. Weston Anderson, Gravedigger, won the JCB Racing competition, and there Jim Kohler in Avenger is ready to go as we get ready to rock out with the 7-time Extreme Air Award winner, the 2-time World Finals Freestyle champion. And Adam, we know that Jim Kohler loves to do huge air sky wheelies in this competition. I would expect for him to hit the first thing he sees as hard as he can.
Yeah, I mean, that's a typical Jim Kohler move. I would expect the same thing from him. Usually he tries to find that freestyle ramp and get a nice sky wheelie, but we'll see what he does. Oh, it looks like he's going for a little nose wheelie. Getting a popper here, pop it up.
Classic green 57 Chevy body, and he does not get anything, so loses a little traction or went too hard at the base of that ramp.
Yeah, it just looked like that hard base under this Dallas dirt did not hold up. He hit the throttle a little hard, and I think the rear wheels didn't get the pop that he was looking for. Maybe if he was a little softer there right at the beginning and then let that thing roll up and hit it a little bit later, it would have helped him get the front or the rear popped up. But not only that, but the dirt is so soft it just slid out from underneath of him.
Looked like Jim is possibly going to line up for a maximum moonwalk attempt. Starting to pull a little out to the far side of the track in the corner. And now Jim Kohler going all the way across, going from one side of this deep AT&T Stadium track to another.
You know, another thing he's known for is hitting that 8-pack. Might try to get a sky wheelie off of that.
I think if you get a sky wheelie off of that, you're backflipping. Now Avenger lines
here we go,
up, has
other
what
side.
he wants to the other side on the red pod. This time comes off, little
There it
pop
is.
there, gets the vertical nose wheelie up, 180-degree base of the truck, and now Jim just letting it fly. Nose wheelie looking for a moonwalk and can't seem to get it back down, but a great nose wheelie, powerful for Avenger. We'll see if that's enough to take the lead. Take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
He definitely stopped that thing just a little early. As we watch the replay here, you can see him bumping the throttle pretty hard to get that thing balanced. And then here, he's too close to the containers and has to put that thing down. You know, talking to his technician, I'm sure he's saying, 10, 30 feet away, got to set that thing down or throw it in reverse, try to get a moonwalk. But still, nice run.
Yeah, Jim Kohler heading to the back, and we see that a lot before freestyle. Trucks need some extra repairs, and Brutus also possibly still getting some updates here as well. So a lot going on through the first competition, a lot going on through the first few trucks of this competition as well. And we're running a little empty here in the stalls when it comes to AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, it's definitely a little empty and not as exciting as I expected these first couple to be, but I'm sure it's going to ramp up here quickly.
And score for Jim Kohler coming in. We have a new leader in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. And we also have a new competitor coming up. Camden Murphy, the amazing Spider-Man, gets a go. He's got racing wins here, as I mentioned. He's got a freestyle win back in 2019. He is yet to win a skills competition in Arlington. Camden rarely gets knocked out in the first round of racing. Weston Anderson took him out on the way to the racing win. And a skills win will go a long way in getting some of those points back. The amazing Spider-Man trying to get up here on the Morgan & Morgan backflip container. Now Camden Murphy trying to find the right angle and get himself a little more room to get a little more power as he backs Spider-Man up onto this container.
Okay, now what you're looking for is Camden to kind of just pop that thing up. There it is right there. Oh, he has to hit reverse again. Oh, my goodness. The control right there, Scott. Are you kidding me?
He caught that right at the right moment. It looked like he was done for. Great catch there by Camden Murphy. And he's a little crooked here. He's got to try to straighten
set
up,
it back
and he's
on
still
top.
going up.
Oh, my goodness. This better be the #1 run. Give it to him.
Captain Murphy looked like he was going off the rails, off the side of the container, straightened up right here. Just gets that nice pop, goes up and then back down.
Oh my gosh, beautiful call right there on the replay, Scott. That's exactly what's going on. The difficulty of what Camden Murphy just did. Forward, reverse, forward, reverse. I mean, he is working his hand on that right side gearbox. Oh my goodness, Camden Murphy with a first shot, and then number 2 here sets it up so gently. Look at the control he has. Man, this is going to be a big score.
Camden Murphy, absolute full control right now. He's got 20 seconds to keep that truck on 2 wheels, and he's using every single second as it ticks off the clock, puts it right back down on 4. But 2 successful attempts. He's getting out of the truck, rightfully so. We should have a new leader here as we await the score for Camden Murphy and the Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow, I really hope that these fans reward Camden Murphy for the technicality of this first move. Let's check out the replay. He backs up. Look at how high he was on the backflip container. He was almost going to reverse onto the top of that thing and still pulls it off. And then here's his second attempt. Gets a little popper. And then the control, I mean, he's working this truck so slow and so gently. These fans have no idea how hard that is.
Camden Murphy putting on a clinic here, the Great Clip Skills Challenge. And Camden Murphy now, the score coming in from this crowd in Arlington, 9.222, rightfully so. We have a new leader in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. It's Camden Murphy and the Amazing Spider-Man. So then the first 9 off the board. And Camden, it's not always about the wow factor. It's also a lot of times about the precision and skill and just the absolute clinic that he just put on.
Yes, and that's what 2-wheel skills is about. It's about showing off your skill, your talent, and not just going for it all out, throwing caution to the wind. It's about controlling something that is so big and heavy with these huge BKTs on it. They're making these minuscule moves. Camden Murphy out there on top.
Next up, Dalton Wider, Jurassic Attack. In a racing competition, he had a first round bye, lost in the second round to Barney Musauer and Black Panther. And we will see if Dalton Wider can grab his second skills win in this Marvel Monster Jam run in October. He won a couple weeks ago back at State Farm Stadium with an 8.856. That would not get it done here. He's got to beat a 9.222, which Camden Murphy just absolutely floored the crowd here. And now Dalton Wider comes out onto the track, locked up a little bit, going to right the ship here, and we will see Jurassic Attack make his first attempt.
Looks like he's trying, I don't know if he's purposely doing the crab walk right now for the fans and kind of showing it off, but it looks like that rear steer has yet to go straight. There it is. It's going straight. Maybe he's having to manually do it. I don't know if he's crab walking for the crowd. Sometimes they'll do that.
Dalton Wider comes up with a modified popper right into a nose wheelie. Going to keep going out.
See if he can throw this into a combination move and get that moonwalk before he sets it down. That's what we're looking for right there. Little combo. Roll it onto the top of the table. Beautiful set down. Almost gets another combo with the wheelie there. Little too slippery, but great first attempt.
See the tacky dirt come into play. Here's a replay of Dalton Wider.
It's that popper right here, and then what you need to look for is that combination move. So what he's going to do is ride this thing out, let the weight of that truck fall backwards, back towards that tabletop looking obstacle, and then he rides that thing into a moonwalk going backwards. That's
attempt number 2 for Dalton Wider. Here comes the steering wheel possibly out the window. And there it is right there on cue, waving it around. And he's got it now out the front. We'll see if he throws it like a digger disc down on the ground. Frisbee toss as Dalton Wider just keeps control of Jurassic Attack, edging forward. And now going to go into moonwalk formation, and there is a steering wheel out the window and on the dirt, and he's still got it in a straight line going across the pond into a moonwalk. So Dalton Wider trying to add some showmanship and flair to the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Well done as we check out the super glue to the action replay.
I love that is now Dalton's signature move, is to hold his steering wheel out the window, continue driving his truck, throw that thing on the ground. Here's the replay right here. You can see him pop that thing up, see if he gets any rear steer going on, a little extra combination move, but he's got the steering wheel out the window. See if we can get the video of him tossing that thing. Nope, we're not going to get it. But, yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing run, and definitely going to be a high score.
Dalton Widener out of Knoxville, Tennessee, representing Team Throttle Monster. And we will find out right now if the lead will change hands. It belongs to Camden Murphy, and it does change hands, 9.451. So fans starting to feel it here, and they reward the showmanship and charisma of Dalton Widener as he throws that steering wheel out the window, came back with it. There's your leaderboard through 5. 9.451 gets it done so far for Dalton Widener. We'll see if it's enough to hang on. He's got some heavy hitters still to come in this competition. The Amazing Spider-Man in 2nd, Avenger 3rd, Excalibur in 4th, and Sparkle Smash on the 5th spot, kicking off the competition. Our next competitor out of Osteen, Florida, Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken, gets an opportunity. We saw what Mike came out and did coming off the ramp, ending up on the hood, briefly had the lead. What do you expect out of Nick here?
I expect something to be different. You know, we've had 2 poppers into nose wheelies. I expect some kind of sky wheelie, maybe a slap wheelie, something that's going to change it up so that way Nick can get maybe possibly another 9. If he does the same thing over again, I think it's a little bit too repetitive for the fans, unfortunately, even though I think it is one of the best moves to kind of get that nose wheelie into the popper, or the popper into the nose wheelie into the moonwalk. I think that's a very tricky technical move, but when you give the fans 3 times in a row to look at it, just loses that excitement. So he has to come out here and do something different.
So far, the biggest damage of the night coming in the hands of Black Panther with the drive shaft, and we await word on Barry Musauer and his truck after he went through the racing bracket in round 1 and round 2 and could not make it back for the finals against Gravediggers Weston Anderson. So we give you updated here as soon as we get it on Barry Musauer. Right now, it's all at the Squid Squad and Kraken. Nick Pagliarulo, the 2019 Monster Jam Co-Rookie of the Year. An honor he shared with Heavy D on the Bro Dozer team. And here comes Kraken.
Oh, yeah, let's get a bicycle
For
going.
a bicycle, he gets a good one here. Nick Pagliarulo goes on the sidewalls, and Nick Pagliarulo hits it, trying for a stoppie, but he gets the bicycle on the sidewalls. And a great first attempt for Nick Pagliarulo. That's something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it is something we haven't seen, but unfortunately, Nick is stopped in the track. You can see right here in the bicycle. I want you guys to look under the front of the truck when it torques off. He's going to turn to the right here, but watch the sparks under the 3rd member area. You can see it come out super heavy right there, and I'm thinking either breakages on that 3rd member or something to do with the brakes. We will have to get a report to see if we can get something going on, but the front end of that truck is definitely damaged.
And the drama continues here in Arlington, Texas. I honestly thought that Houston would be the place. We've seen so many carnage, so many truck issues. The Tacky Dirt being another competitor out there, I thought that would be the place we would have the most interesting aspects of trying to keep these trucks in competitions. Right now, Arlington is just telling Houston to step aside. It's my turn.
Yeah, and I think that does come from this floor being so hard packed. You're getting that top view that you guys can see right now, and the lighter spots are just so, packed down that the under part of the track is very difficult on these trucks. You can see right here, the front end of that truck, there's something going on, some kind of axle issue, and unfortunate.
Still great bicycle there, very nice, powerful, gets it on the sidewalls. And ends up only with 1 attempt here in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. So Nick Pagliarulo's run cut short, and we will keep you updated as the freestyle status of Kraken. We are 6 into the competition, 6 more to go. Coming up next, Jamie Sullivan hits the track in Thor. That is next with Monster Jam in Arlington. We are right back in the action here in Arlington. The Great Clip Skills Challenge, Jamie Sullivan and Thor. Comes right off the step up into a nose wheelie. She won this competition 1 week ago, trying to double down here at AT&T Stadium. There goes the rear steer, going to crab walk her way through this nose wheelie.
Now, what is really going to top it for Jamie is she's going to have to get some kind of combination move in here. If she can get it on at least the second run. Oh, it looks like Thor's hammer has come off of the truck.
Man, you never call it Thor's hammer. It's Mjolnir, man. Come on.
Yes, sir.
It's got a personality. Take a look at the replay, man. Jamie Sullivan's just shaking that hammer up. Right out into that nose wheelie. He just starts wobbling away. She starts getting the rear steer going. And as you mentioned, trying to get a combo move in here possibly. Just didn't come up enough with it.
You can tell Jamie has complete control over this truck. She's going to set it down. And this is a great first attempt. I would have liked to see a combination move here. So she kind of got it out of the way. And now she has to rely on the second attempt. But that's all right. Jamie has been very solid in this competition, so I look forward to see what she has next.
Jamie Sullivan going to back Thor up. There is a great look at the 8-pack.
Something new here.
You talked about that with Jim Kohler possibly hitting it. Jamie Sullivan going to go after it here. Thor comes back into the 8-pack a little off. Had the tires a little off in the back end. Almost went right around it into that middle spot on the ramp. So Jamie Sullivan can't get it done on the 8-pack. Does get a great first attempt, and we're going to check out the replay here as we await the scores. Dalton Wider, Jurassic Attack currently with the lead, the Great Clip Skills Challenge, and we'll see if Thor can take it over.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of why I mentioned, you need to get the best first attempt that you possibly can because you don't know what's going to happen on the second attempt. Here's that first attempt, gets that 12,000-pound truck dialed in, perfect balance. We've seen this a lot tonight, unfortunately. The way that the order is, there's going to be some repeats. Jamie Sullivan has great control of the truck, balancing it on these BKTs. Gets a little rear steer in there, so throwing something a slight bit different in there. Sets the truck down, and the hammer just flies off that thing.
Instead of hammering the throttle, she throttled the hammer just right off. All right, we are 7 trucks into the Great Clip Skills Challenge. There's a score for Jamie Sullivan and Thor, 6.899. The score to beat remains 9.451. Dalton Wider, Jurassic Attack, currently has the lead. 5 trucks remain. Chris Kohler and Brutus out after racing. We saw him get taken out to the back after the racing competition after losing to Weston Anderson in round 2. So Chris Kohler back at it again on this dirt here in Arlington. He gets a shot at the Great Clip Skills Challenge. And through the tunnel he comes. Brutus back in action. You're a Extreme fan. You got to be a fan of this truck. Chris just likes to keep it in the dog pound with Monster Mutt. Now Brutus, one of the great identities of that Team Scream.
See what he's got in store for the first attempt here.
Chris Kohler coming in here, going up for some big air. Going to try for a slap wheelie there on the back end of that ramp. Can't get much.
I don't know if it looked like he definitely was going for the slap wheelie, but what happened there is he just came up a slight bit short on the landing with those rear tires, and what happens when you do that is it just sets the truck off a little bit weird in its rhythm. So
Chris Kohler, attempt number 2, bicycle. We saw Kraken get it. Chris Kohler goes fast, and he gets hard there as well, but he cannot get the bicycle going. And that'll do it for Brutus in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. We're going to get you the original Super Glue to the action replay. Chris Kohler back it into the stall. Iron Man coming out next. Still waiting on an updated word for Black Panther as Barney Musauer's team is back there still trying to get the truck ready for the Great Clip Skills Challenge. And here is the score for Brutus, 4.066. That puts Chris Kohler currently in 7th place. Next up, Brandon Arthur in Iron Man. Brandon with a great racing bracket beat Jamie Sullivan in round 2 before losing to the eventual winner, Weston Anderson, in the semifinal round. Has a chance to get his first stadium skills win here on the U.S. Tour.
It's like he's going to back that truck up, get it popped up on the container.
I'm so used to seeing Tom Meents do this and just go in and one attempt and back it right up. We're seeing a lot of drivers trying to come in different angles, trying to get it. They're getting communication with their crew chiefs or technicians to the right angle, and we see Brandon Arthur not being able to get anything off that ramp.
Yeah, you can see here he got it popped up, and then what happened is he had it in reverse, hit the throttle, thought he needed reverse, and he actually didn't. So here he comes with the second attempt. Little heavy on the brakes there.
Well, he got it right, though, this time. Brandon Arthur got control. The truck looked like it was going off the ramp. Brandon's able to turn it out, and now he's got Ironman back up onto that ramp, trying to get up to the face of it, but he can't, just runs out of room. But for Brandon Arthur to even make it that far on that catch shows you the testament to this kid's driving ability and how much he's grown in year 2.
Yeah, he's definitely just getting better and better. I love the look of that Ironman truck, and he's doing it justice. You can see that he's been practicing and just carrying that momentum and getting better. Here's that second attempt. Watch the heavy on the brakes. You can see the trucks kind of start to bounce right there, and then that kind of turns the truck, getting those bounces. He's trying to turn the front wheels actually a little bit to get the truck more straight. He's talking to his technician right now. How am I lined up? Getting that combination move, but just too far off to the right.
Just got word that Black Panther will be coming out for the Great Clip Skills Challenge. So Barry Musauer will be up next. There's a score for Ironman, 6.616. Moves him into the top 5. So we get Barry Musauer, who had all kinds of issues in the racing bracket, needed help getting started twice, gets taken off, can't make it back to the finals, and now he is here. And now we're being told Vendetta instead will be getting the nod. So instead of Barry, Mike Christensen once again taking the place of Barry Musauer. So we may have jumped the gun in the back a little bit. It looks like they are able to get Black Panther ready, but it just won't be right now. Oh, you know what? Hang on, folks. Hang on. We are going to give this a shot. This is live television, and we are getting Barry Musauer in Black Panther. So we got a great team here and a great team in Arlington. We're communicating. We're getting it done. Live television things happen. Black Panther is on the track. And a great view back there coming out of the tunnel. We saw the other Thor driver, the other Marvel drivers watching Barry come out. So everybody happy he's able to get back on the track.
Yeah, I think the most important thing here is that we actually get to see Black Panther and two-wheel skills.
Oh, hold on. Vendetta's going to come out instead. I'm kidding.
Oh, wait a minute. We got another report. Vendetta's coming out on the floor.
I'm kidding.
But, yeah, it's good to see Barry out here. He's definitely a contender, and we want to see him show his best effort, and can't do that if you're not on the track.
And he's going to go for a donut here. He's a 2-time Guinness World Record holder in Monster Jam donuts for doing them like that. And Barry with a powerful one has that front right wheel up in the air, still rotating. That's what you want to see. Round and round. Speed, rotations, breakdance.
Oh, there we go.
And Barry puts a little extra mustard on the bread right there, my friend. Comes out with the breakdance ending, just goes over. But a powerful donut.
Oh, man.
If a donut's going to win the Great Clip Skills Challenge, it might be that one.
Yeah, I thought that was an excellent choice from Barry. They haven't seen a donut completed yet. And not only that, but the dirt here really slings off those BKT tires when it's hooking up. And Barry may be spinning a little bit there still. But, yeah, it's good to see that, and eagerly awaiting the score here. Yeah, you can see him right here. He's spinning, and he tries to shut it down. He knows the tires are coming up, hits the brakes there just slightly too late. But, man, what a show.
So Barry Musauer trying to get some of those points back. 8.972 is the score for Black Panther. He is third right now. So the donut goes up, puts Barry in third, gets some of those points back. Coming up next, the final two, Vendetta and Gravedigger finish off the competition next on Monster Jam. We are back at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And tonight's home for Monster Jam Live. For those of you watching us around the world, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you for the third of 3 historic Marvel Monster Jam Live events. Mike Christensen, Vendetta, coming out. The ultimate opportunist gets to come back in the final round, gave Weston Anderson everything he had, made a great race, and now he gets an opportunity to come out again and win the competition in the Great Clip Skills Challenge.
You know, and one of the things I'm looking at, starting off with a little slap wheelie.
We haven't seen a good one. This is a good one here. We haven't seen one, period. Nobody's done a slap wheelie. Mike Christensen just pulled it off.
Way to get out and just fire on all cylinders. Here's the slap wheelie right here. He comes right out of the pit stall. No time wasted. Gets a nice little air wheelie, then gets the bounce, hits the throttle at the perfect time. Vendetta on fire tonight.
You might be back in his good graces.
I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Comes off again, just going to go right down on the wheelie bar. Sliding the flag, goes over the pod and saves it.
Drags the wheelie bar, the bumper on that one.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it sure looked cool. And Mike Christensen with 2 big-time slap wheelies gets a little bicycle on the backside, makes it into a combo move. And Vendetta with a great run here in the Great Clip Skills Challenge. We're going to look at the replay as we await the score from the Arlington fans.
Here he is with his second attempt. He gets the slap wheelie here. Now watch the back of the truck dragging the dirt. Let's get another view of it. He gets the slap wheelie here, and then you see the bumper just dragging in the dirt, getting that thing, and then he steers it to the left and then grabs the edge of that pod right there, or freestyle jump, and just kind of tilts it to the side. Little extra style points at the end.
8.103 for Vendetta. So Mike Christensen having a good night so far. Second in racing, fourth at the moment in skills. We're down to our final competitor, and business is about to pick up. Weston Anderson, gravedigger out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, the 3-time Arena Series champion in Monster Jam, now has a chance to double down and win 2 in a row and take a commanding lead here in Arlington in the overall event standings. There's the red headlights. And there's Gravedigger 42 coming out on the track. "11 have made it out. 1 remains. Weston Anderson trying to get a win. We have seen 2 different winners in the skills competitions over the last 2 events. And now Weston goes for a bicycle on the other side of the track, and he goes way down low trying to save it. And he just runs out of room. But that ramp, he's still going.
He's still going.
He is still trying to get that thing up on 4 wheels. If that little ramp wasn't there, he may have been able to do it. But, man, he came right off the bicycle, went really low to the ground, and just runs out of room with that ramp in front of him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a little frustrated there, but it's all just because of this dirt here in Arlington. Super, super hard packed underneath there. You can see the blue groove happening when these tires are spinning on that hard packed base. And unfortunately, both drivers that went for that bicycle attempt tried to get it up on 2 wheels, and then it gets fully, completely on the whole sidewall. And then once you're there, it's really hard to make a save, unfortunately, for Weston Anderson. Goes over just a little too much, throws it in reverse and tries to get the save, but can't quite do it.
7.584 for Weston Anderson. He will finish 5th. Coming up next, we will hear from our winner. 2 competitions down, 1 to go. We got a lot more still to come in Arlington, so make sure you stay where you are. Monster Jam from Texas returns after this. Monster Jam is brought to you by Target. Shop Marvel Monster Jam toys at Target today. You're watching Monster Jam live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Dalton Widener, Jurassic Attack, winning the Great Clip Skills Challenge. He is tied to the top of the overall event leaderboard with Gravediggers Weston Anderson and Vendetta's Mike Christensen. So Team Throttle Monster has 2 of the top spots on that leaderboard, and it's been a dynamite night so far for all of them. And then you can't forget that that's just literally 1 point separates the top 4. And when you look down even to the top 6, it's a 5-point deficit. Anybody's game in freestyle right now. The overall event championship, Adam, is wide open.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of felt like this show has just been a little bit slow moving so far, and you can tell by that points leaderboard how close everything is. Nobody's been very consistent to kind of make a big lead or make a big change. And man, freestyle is coming up, and I think it's about to heat up here in Arlington.
Well, Weston Anderson started the night off with a JCB Racing win, and in round one, it was that matchup we highlighted, Camden Murphy against Weston Anderson. We're going to go back and show you that race because right out the gate, we had a competition here between two of the best drivers in Monster Jam.
Yeah, and I truthfully think that this could have been the finale for sure, and it really did come down to the wire between these two drivers. Just came down to who made the smaller mistake, and Weston, in the end, just powered down in that last corner, got the drive, and squared up with the finish. And that was that. Unfortunately, we did not get to see them in the finals. Who knows what would have happened, but you know, that's how racing goes. You get knocked out in the first round, and it's the end of your night.
And he had the fastest time of the night in that run, 20.342. Then in the semifinals, it was Barnum Sour Black Panther up against Mike Christensen Vendetta with another incredible matchup. And these two went round and round again, made it very close. Here's a great look at the top, that starting line, and it was Vendetta giving Black Panther everything he had.
Yeah, I mean, Bari Musauer just seemed to be on point driving-wise tonight. Unfortunately, his truck has been giving him upsets, and the Gremlins have been showing their heads. But both of these drivers, man, just look at how close this finish was. Bari Musauer and Mike Christensen, you know, what Mike Christensen got by getting that gift at the end, I think he really deserves that. And unfortunately for Bari, he came up a little short because he had truck technicalities.
Well, Bari looked dominant throughout those first couple rounds in racing. That led us to our final round. Bari couldn't continue. Mike Christensen gets the opportunity to come back into the bracket and square off against Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. Another great matchup in this exciting JCB racing competition.
Yeah, and what's so upsetting is Mike Christensen, I believe, had this until the very last turn. He got the drive. You see Gravedigger kind of slide out there. He doesn't get the drive down the last straightaway. But right here, Mike Christensen just pushes just that slight bit too wide. And Weston stays tight, gets the drive in that last corner like he's been doing all night, and comes away with a finale win. But Mike Christensen still tied for the lead.
And Dalton Wider winning skills. That takes us to the overall event leaderboard, tied to the top, 20 points apiece for Gravedigger, Jurassic Attack, and Vendetta. Black Panther with 19, and the Amazing Spider-Man and Iron Man at 15. So there it is, 5 points separating the top half of this Monster Jam lineup. Well, we are at the end of 2024, and we can begin, Adam, to look ahead to 2025. The 2025 yes. Monster Jam season is just a few short months away, and we are getting ready to kick things off. And right now, you and I are going to chat a little bit about the 2025 Monster Jam season. We're going to kick it off with Stadium Championship Series East. That begins at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. Cynthia Gauthier returning to Lucas Stabilizer after expanding her family. She's been looking great in some of the events she's been in. Mexico City, one of those. What do you think about Cynthia coming back into a championship series?
I mean, I'm ready for Cynthia to come back, and she obviously is. She went down to Mexico and got the freestyle win, and I think that's a huge statement for her. You know, I did say on air that Jamie Sullivan was the best female driver, and right later that night, Cynthia goes out and wins freestyle in Mexico. So she said, you know what? She might not be Cynthia Gauthier one to watch next year.
A lot of drivers keep doing that. Joe Foley returning to Axe after a year in El Toro Loco, the freestyle king. Joey Freestyle back in Axe. He led the series with 5 freestyle wins in El Toro Loco. Can this return to Axe give him the same result?
I think so. You know, it's going to be very difficult. But Joe Foley, you know, something to explain him is just explosive.
Yeah.
Joe Foley's freestyles have been absolutely tremendous this whole entire season, and I really feel like he's just turned over a new leaf. He is going into Axe, but there's a lot of people that that know that truck and love that truck as well.
I believe in Joe Foley. Stadium Championship Series West kicks off at Angel Stadium in Anaheim. Tristan England back in year 2 of the JCB Digatron. He gets away from Tyler Menega, but he does run right into the Andersons. Can Tristan win the series championship?
Well, I mean, when we're talking about Tyler Menninger, that is a few other drivers' kryptonite, just like it is Tristan England. So for him to be able to get away from Tyler Menninger, I think that's going to be a huge lift of confidence for him. He is one of those drivers that has so much talent and really a rising star, you know, at his peak in Monster Jam. Tristan England in that JCB truck is fantastic, and he can get it done.
Zach Garner, the World Finals racing champion, moves into the Stadium Series wild side. So you have the 2023 racing champion and the 2024 racing champion. Zach's looked great so far in Stadium events since SoFi. Can he continue that?
Yeah, I mean, he's wild, and it says it on the side of his truck, and he just has that it factor. He's the new young buck that wants to make a statement, the underdog that can get it done, and he has skills like I've never seen any other driver.
Arena Championship Series Central kicks off January 4th at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, sees the return of John Zimmer Jr. to Monster Jam. Just 2 years ago, this kid was nearly a world champion in the skills competition. He's coming back. He's won an overall in Bridgeport this weekend. What can John Zimmer Jr., can he become the first independent to win a series championship?
Yes, I think he can, and one of the things he has on his side is his dad. I actually got taught by his dad at MJU, so he has a bunch of experience. But John Zimmer Jr., one of those talents that's tremendous as well, and he can be the first ever to be an independent driver champion in the Arena Series.
Arena Championship Series East kicks off its season. Greenville, South Carolina. Tony Oaks returns to Thunderoras. Tony's never won a series championship. This could be his year.
Yeah, it definitely could. He's definitely got a lot of challenges his way with Kristen Anderson, but he's one of those drivers that's always a favorite, super nice guy, and getting used to that Thunderoras truck, just finding his comfort.
On the West Series, that is going to kick off as well as Salt Lake City. We talk about that, and Ashley Sanford making some big strides, returning most of the stars from last year. There's Arena Championship Series West. Weston Anderson is back. Cody Saucier, Brianna Mahan, but Ashley Sanford, who I want to focus on, former Monster Jam Rookie of the Year. Can she continue to develop and hang with some of those big dogs?
I think she can. Do I think she can win the championship? No, I don't. Cody Saucier and Weston Anderson are going to be in there battling for the championship, I believe. But something I do want to say about Ashley Sanford is she is very good. She will be there week in and week out, getting event and competition wins every single week. Do I think she has the consistency yet? No, but she definitely has those shining, bright moments that can get her to the top.
Well, that series kicks off the season January 3rd in Salt Lake City. We're not done with Monster Jam live streams this year. Coming up next month, November 8th, 9th, and 10th, we will be live from Spokane, Washington at the Spokane Arena. There's the times up right there. Great, exciting event for Monster Jam fans, including the return of Backwards Bob to Monster Jam in Spokane. You don't want to miss it. Set your calendar November 8th, 7 p.m. for the Monster Jam live stream. We are 2 down in Arlington with 1 to go. Freestyle is on deck. Freestyle is kicking off next when we come back from Arlington. Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master. Epic trucks, epic stunts, Monster Jam. We are back from Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium. Tonight's home for Monster Jam live event action. We appreciate everybody watching in from around the world on our Fast Channel partnerships. If you're on YouTube, the live chat has been going off. Backwards Bob coming back to Spokane. And a lot of people talking about the Robbins twins bringing back Crazy Train and playing Crazy on Arena Central. So a lot of fans feeling some of these great announcements coming in. But we got a great one going on tonight here in Arlington. 3 drivers tied at the top of the leaderboard. 1 driver with 19 points. So you have Dalton Widener, you have Mike Christensen, you have Weston Anderson, you have Barry Musauer in there, and you have Camden Murphy and Brandon Arthur, who are only 5 points back as well. So that's going to open up freestyle with a lot on the line because everybody wants to go out with a bang. You have a lot of eyeballs on this event tonight, a lot of fans watching around the world, and Vendetta is going to kick off the freestyle competition. Mike Christensen loves to hit this freestyle track hard. He likes to make a statement, and he has a chance to come out early and put the event championship solely in the hands of Team Throttle Monster.
Yeah, he does, and that really relies on if he can be out on the track. And tonight he's proved that he can be. And when he's out on the track, he's a competitor. Mike Christensen has an absolutely amazing opportunity coming out first. He gets to show the fans something that they haven't seen before, and that can bode for very, very high scores. I think he needs to go out, try to hit a backflip towards the end of his run, and show these fans what excitement means.
Fans out in Arlington doing the YMCA, we have that in their ears, taking everything I can not to show off my dance moves here. Let's take a look at the freestyle order for tonight's freestyle competition. Vendetta, as I mentioned, will kick it off. Excalibur in a great 1-2 punch. Sparkle Smash is in there. Caleb Blood already with a couple freestyle wins in the Sparkle Smash era. Kraken Jurassic Attack. So Dalton Wider gets a shot 5th for the event championship. There's Thor, Iron Man, Brutus, Black Panther in the bottom there, 9th, 10th, Avenger, Gravedigger, 11th, and the Amazing Spider-Man, 12th. So this thing is not going to be over until you get down to the very end with Weston Anderson and Gravedigger in that 11th spot. And depending on what happens, possibly Camden Murphy with a shot there as well. But this is a very well-balanced freestyle order. Who do you think has the advantage of those 6 drivers in contention for the event championship?
You know, I got to give it right now to either Dalton Widener or Camden Murphy, and the reason that is Dalton is in that 5th spot. You know, if those drivers at the beginning of the freestyle run really don't perform, he has a great chance to show the fans something spectacular.
We are kicking freestyle off. It has started already. Mike Christensen hits the first jump he sees, and he's got 2 minutes to pay dirt here, possibly 2 minutes to the overall event championship. Team Throttle Monster looking good so far tonight. 2 of the top 3 drivers on that team out of Ogden, Utah. And this is Mike Christensen in Vendetta. Made it to the racing finals after coming back into the bracket. Nice run in the skills competition, has put it together.
Mike Christensen starting out his run phenomenal right now. I don't know if I've seen Mike drive this aggressive in a little bit. He seems to be doing exactly what he needs. He's hammering on the throttle. He's got some big hits to start out the run. He's definitely driving around like he has a vendetta.
Yeah. It might be on you.
Right?
All right, here we go. Mike Christensen. He has not done historically well here. This is his 4th start in Arlington, and it's the best event he has had so far in his career. His best freestyle finish here, 10th. So he rights that ship here tonight. He could be walking out of here with some hardware. Here comes Vendetta coming in up over the backside of the 8-pack. Nice air into a slap wheelie combo, and he's got that steering wheel locked to the left, and he is trying to right this truck into the far side of this deep Arlington track.
A little bit of steam or smoke coming out of the truck. Hopefully that doesn't turn into any breakages. Get a backflip here before the time ends.
Yeah, he's going to run this thing until he can't run anymore. More smoke coming out of Vendetta, and he may be heading for something huge here. He knows what's at stake. Here comes Vendetta for the first backflip of the night, and Mike Christensen goes over, and Mike Christensen lands it with a little oomph at the end there, and he is not done.
Little combo move, getting a wheelie there, and another big hit to finish off the run.
Great check up on the transfer jump, and Mike Christensen wants the event championship, and right now it is his for the taking.
Oh man, this is a good run, Scott. This could be it right here.
Finish it off with a donut, a strong donut as he roosts the dirt, and Vendetta with a great run to start the competition. And the crowd going absolutely nuts in Arlington. What a way to start the competition.
Oh, man.
You never want to start it quiet. You want to start it with a vengeance, with a vendetta. And Mike Christensen just did that.
Oh, look at him. That's what I'm talking about. He is hyped. The fans are hyped. That was a run to watch one more time. Let's check out the replay. Here's the backflip. Perfect execution. It's a little bit front heavy, but gets the combination move because of it. And then that last air. Look at the undercarriage of that truck. Bounces on the side of that freestyle jump, gets down, and then sets it into this donut right here. The crowd is just going nuts.
Absolute perfection for Mike Christensen to start the competition. 9.241 is the score. And Mike has found himself at the top of the overall event leaderboard right now. A lot could still happen, but 9.241, Adam, is a great score to have when you want to win freestyle.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what, I was talking about Mike last week and having those breakages and what he can do to kind of fix those things. And he came out this weekend and completely proved me wrong. Not one thing wrong with that truck. He gets an extra chance in the finale, comes out in freestyle and absolutely destroys it.
I think I saw a picture of you inside the cab.
You know what? You know what? If there was a picture of me inside that cab, I will take credit for it because that was absolutely stunning performance from Mike Christensen.
Great run to start the competition. Somebody's got to follow that run on the schedule. It's Excalibur. Mike Pagliarulo, the 2024 Monster Jam Co-Rookie of the Year honor he shared with Fernando Martinez, the unbelievable arena driver El Toro Loco. And there's a great look at Excalibur. I love the song choices that we're hearing from some of these independent drivers, getting this rock and roll blaring in Arlington, Texas, man. I love it. We talked about that a couple weeks ago with Dalton Wider and called the personality, but great choice here from Mike Pagliarulo.
I mean, who doesn't like a little bit of AC/DC? Come on. If that doesn't get the crowd started, nothing will. Excalibur starting off with a big hit, and the windshield and the roof comes off. This is going to be a good night.
The front clip already off, body parts already shedding, and the run is just getting started for Mike Pagliarulo out of Osteen, Florida. Team Tomfoolery, represented tonight by Mike and Nick.
Another big hit there for Excalibur.
Made his Monster Jam debut in 2022. He has driven every truck for this team. We saw him switch over to Team Overboard as well, driving Black Pearl when Cole Menard got injured earlier this season.
Oh, getting the truck slowed down. Nice job, Mike.
When that happened, we were covering that series for television on MAV TV. We were covering it when the choice was announced that Mike Pagliarulo was going to take over Black Pearl. And I talked to Jamie Garner about that, and I said, why Mike? And he said, why not? Mike is a perfect choice. He can drive, he's got all the tools we need, and he drove Black Pearl to perfection. And here's a perfect backflip from Excalibur. He's going to go a little bit over, and he's going to try to save it, but too much. And we got some excitement down there on the track here in Arlington as Excalibur looks good on the backflip, over, does it just a bit much, but hey, I'm all about that landing, man. Well done for Mike Pagliarulo.
Yep, lands on his hood and skills, and then does it again in freestyle. What a great run. Definitely a little bit of time left on the clock, but for him and Excalibur, I think that was a solid run. Under-rotated the backflip slightly, gets a big bounce off those front BKTs, and lands on the hood. Can't quite control that. There's nothing you can do.
You're going back to what we were talking about with Backwards Bob. Excalibur is another one of those nostalgic trucks that fans were clamoring for. Came out in 1985. It's been a while since we saw it. Now that it's back, it just absolutely looks beautiful. And I know a lot of fans out there like me love nostalgia, and it's great to see Monster Jam bringing some of these identities, some of these trucks back into competition for fans of a new generation to see compete on the track. I'm all for it. I'm all about it. I hope we see more. There's a score from Mike, 8.214. Not bad at all for Excalibur. There's a replay.
So here's the big hit that I was talking about. I was impressed with how he got that thing turned and slowed down. You can see right there just getting that truck to control the bounce.
2 trucks in, 10 more to come. Vendetta has the lead. Sparkle Smash is coming up next. We'll be right back with more Monster Jam from Arlington.
This copyrighted broadcast of Monster Jam may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Feld Motorsports, Inc.
Welcome back to AT&T Stadium in Arlington as we get Excalibur cleared from the stadium. Mike Pagliarulo out off the track as well. Great score for him. Vendetta has the lead. Adam, I know you're over there with your tablet. You've got our YouTube feed pulled up, which is one of the many ways you can watch our Monster Jam live stream. A lot of questions popping off in the chat about Backwards Bob. We have a chance to answer that. We don't know who's driving that. It has not been announced yet. I would stay tuned to monsterjam.com for some news coming up. But that event is in November, so a few more weeks still to happen. And we do appreciate you guys interacting on the chat with each other. I saw Fernando Martinez was commenting, the young driver out of California that we talked about, co-rookie of the year. Let's get back to the action right now with Caleb Blood and Sparkle Smash. The incredibly popular, and when it comes to our Spin Master diecast, I don't know that there was a more popular truck than Sparkle Smash. I mean, from boys and girls alike to moms and dads as well. You see the Sparkle Smash merchandise at every event we're at. You see kids having it, and now that we get this truck, it's awesome. And Kayla's done such a great job. I remember talking to her after she won her first freestyle in LA at the Crypto.com Arena. Now she's got stadium win under her belt in Sparkle Smash. But it is a drastic, as there's a great look at Sparkle Smash coming through the tunnel, but it is a drastic identity change to go from Soldier Fortune, where she is a U.S. military veteran, now to Sparkle Smash. There's the confetti cannon. I know that's your favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I love the confetti cannon. El Toro Loco has the little bit of steam coming out of its nose, and then now Sparkle Smash has the confetti cannon, and just a great way to start off the show.
Going back a couple weeks ago to our first Monster Jam Marble Live event from State Farm Stadium. It was Caleb Blood in Sparkle Smash who had a great freestyle run, taking the win. Just edging out Wild Side and Gravedigger. And there's some controversy there amongst fans, but Caleb Blood, a well-deserved win. And we have a well-deserved Marble Live event happening here in Monster Jam. The Overall Event Championship up for grabs. 3 drivers with 20 points, 1 with 19, 2 with 15. Caleb Blood gets a little stuck sideways in bicycle formation, is able to correct.
Yeah, great job making sure that the truck was slowed down enough to make that save. Sparkle Smash has had a couple bad bounces here and there. I'm wondering how that suspension setup is treating her right now. Maybe she made a few adjustments after racing, or it's just because she hasn't had that much time on the track. You know, she did get shut down in 2-wheel skills, and maybe she's worried about that right now, but it looks like she's getting a little bit more comfortable with the truck. Not the freestyle that we've seen in Glendale, but definitely starting to ramp it up a bit.
Flips the back wheels, is able to keep the truck going, loses no momentum at all. Swings Sparkle Smash back around. Caleb making the 3rd start in Arlington. The last was back in March. We talked about Bari Musawa winning that event. Caleb Blood now means business as she is over here on this side of the track. Looks like she was heading for the backflip ramp, but she is not moving right now. So some issues here with 24 seconds on the clock for Sparkle Smash, but I do believe she was making a move for the backflip ramp.
Yeah, I think she was too, and this is what I was just talking about, is that she just is thinking about these things. Unfortunately, Caleb Blood, we are getting reports that she is done. But when you're a driver and you have those technical issues, you know, it's hard to get your mind off of those technical issues while you're doing the run and focus on what you're doing. And unfortunately, you know, in the back of her mind, she probably knew that something was still wrong with the truck. She wasn't confident that it was fixed. And going to end short.
So not the way she wants the run to end. But Caleb Blood gave it a great go here. 7.204 is the score for Sparkle Smash. Vendetta holds on to the freestyle lead with a 9.241. So 3 trucks in, 9 more still to come in Arlington, Texas. Here's a Super Glue glued to the action replay coming up as we take a look at Caleb Blood in Sparkle Smash. Well, there's the freestyle leaderboard as well. Let's go to that. 9.241 for Vendetta, 8.214 for Excalibur, and 7.204 for Sparkle Smash. We're going to keep rocking here in this lineup. Nick Pagliarulo cracking out next, and you and I have talked about this at the top of the show throughout our 2024 broadcast season and 2023 broadcast season. Nick Pagliarulo has thrown down what I consider to be maybe top 10 freestyle runs of all time in Monster Jam. He has laid the truck in absolute pieces. And we saw Wildside do that a couple weekends ago in Glendale, and I think I'd love to see that 12,000-pound squid laid to waste on the dirt here.
Yeah, I definitely would, and I think Nick would like that as well. And one of the things that's a little different from these other drivers is that Nick hasn't been here for these first 2 rounds. So he had an opportunity to make sure his truck was absolutely perfect before he got out here, and not to mention that, he doesn't have anything going on in the weeks to come. So he can really just send this truck into oblivion and tear it apart.
Yeah, one of those times that he was able to lay the truck in pieces. He won the 2023 Super Glue Crash Madness Award as Kraken wastes no time coming off the ramp. Deep jump for Nick Pagliarulo, and Kraken is off and running in freestyle.
Pushes just slightly wide there. Running over some glitter on the track.
Yeah. Nick made an appearance at World Finals in the Last Chance qualifier. He's been in the World Finals field before. The road to World Finals begins January 3rd in Salt Lake City, which will be the home of World Finals at Rice Eccles Stadium July 4th weekend. You can get more information at monsterjam.com. We got some sparks flying underneath Kraken.
Yeah, something is definitely going wrong with the front end. That left front tire, the planetary gear, is locked up on the left, and I'm sure a few more things are wrong with the front of that truck after 2-wheel skills.
Well, he's just trying to get a score here, trying not to get a point deducted if he doesn't meet the time here. We saw the front end issues earlier with the truck still plaguing, but Nick Pagliarulo able to give it a go here. 60 seconds left on the clock, which means he will not be penalized in this run. So he's going to get a good score, a decent score at least, and not lose a point.
I love that he still went. I love that he still went for the 1-2 shift, and he has no drive coming out of the front of that truck.
Nick Pagliarulo,
oh yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness!
Pops
Give me something!
He went into a wheelie combo, popped the truck up. And we talked about laying Kraken to waste. He just did it right there. Nick with a phenomenal ending to his freestyle run. Man, it looked like he was just trying to fill the clock to get a score. And then he pulls that out of nowhere. So Kraken ends up on the side. Nick Pagliarulo coming out of the truck. And we are going to await the score here. But Nick Pagliarulo giving it all with the busted front end and everything.
Yeah, and right here, this is what we love about Nick is he just will make something out of nothing. The front of the truck's broken. He's out on the top of the truck, just so excited. Here's the replay right here. You can see the front of the truck. There's no drive coming out of the front of the truck. Here he gets that little bounce coming on. And here's the slap wheelie right into the 8-pack and then gets a front flip. Almost completes the front flip. Wow.
We saw Lee O'Donnell do that in the Mad Scientist and win a race, our freestyle world championship, but he was able to land it. And Nick Pagliarulo almost had one there. 7.488 is the score. That's going to put Kraken at third. We are 4 trucks in, 8 more still to come, including the current overall event leaders. Dalton Weiner is next in Jurassic Attack when we come back. We are back in Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium for more Monster Jam Live action. It's the third and final Marvel Monster Jam event of the season on U.S. soil. And we are starting to pick up here in freestyle. Vendetta has the lead, 9.241. We just saw Kraken throw down one that got him on the leaderboard at fourth right now, or third. So Kraken comes out and puts the truck into the dirt and gets that third score. Excalibur 8.214 is in second, and Sparkle Smash currently in fourth. 4 trucks in, 8 more to go. Let's talk about who's coming up next. Jurassic Attack. That tie at the top of the leaderboard. Vendetta, Jurassic Attack, Gravedigger, 20 points apiece. Dalton has to beat Mike 9.241. So when you have not only your teammate but your boss in front of you, I mean, there's a little pride there. There's a little more at stake, because not only can you take the lead and win the event championship, but you can also take it from the team owner.
Yeah, let's put it this way. If I'm Dalton, I'm just putting on the brakes. I'm faking an electrical issue or something. That way I can get some extra parts for 2025. But then again, I'm not Dalton, and I think he's going to go for it right now. He has all the momentum in the world. He's been absolutely destroying the competition in two-wheel skills, and let's see if he can keep going in freestyle.
Dalton Weiner with 2 skills wins in 3 weeks here on this October run. Back at State Farm Stadium, he got an 8.597 in freestyle 1 week ago in NRG Stadium, 7.724. He's got to beat a 9.241 to take the lead and take the lead for the overall event championship as well. There's a slap wheelie off the 8-pack. Nicely executed by Dalton Weiner.
Yeah, it's definitely always good to throw a couple two-wheel skills moves into these competitions. A nice air, see if you can get on the backside. Great job.
It's a great check going, lands a little awkwardly. He's able to straighten out the truck. He's got a nice angle here coming from one side of the track to the other, near side for Dalton Weiner. Again, pops it up, floats it over the berm. Will compete on Stadium Championship Series East in 2025 after winning the JCB Arena Racer of the Year, making a heck of a showing at World Finals in the racing bracket. Dalton Weiner gets an opportunity in the Stadium Series, and Dalton Weiner with an opportunity for a Stadium Event Championship here in Jurassic Attack.
Man, I really like the way Dalton Weiner has his truck set up. It's on the softer side, but it looks like it's soaking up the landing as well.
And he's going to soak up the Morgan & Morgan backflip. Here goes Dalton Weiner. Jurassic Attack comes down perfect on the landing, and he's got some time left on the clock. Let's see what Dalton Weiner does next. Big air over the car stack, comes right up over the ramp again, clips the back 2 wheels up into a nose wheelie.
This right here is where you have to go for it and lay it all on the line. He said he's going to destroy his truck, and right now is the time to do it. He got the backflip done. He got the 1-2 out of the backflip. Now it's time to go.
Right up against the backflip ramp once again. Comes up over the gray side. Now on the backside of the berm, Dalton Weiner gets some air again with the back 2 wheels up in the air. Comes over the tabletop. We've seen a lot of drivers hitting that step-up ramp at awkward angles, and he runs out of room. He's got Avenger right in front of him, and Dalton Weiner lands the backflip. We'll see where that lands him on the overall leaderboard here for freestyle. and that will determine his chances for the event championship. So right now, 3 tied at the top. That is Weston Anderson, Mike Christensen, Dalton Wider, Barton Musauer 1 point off. And then Brandon Arthur and Camden Murphy 5 points off the event lead. Here's the original Super Glue replay.
Great execution of the backflip. He hits the throttle in the air, knows he kind of under-rotates it coming off that ramp, but does a great job by hitting the throttle and getting that truck to rotate a little bit more. Dalton Widener. In that freestyle, I think he had some really great moments. Do I think it's going to beat Mike Christensen? No, but he put together a solid freestyle run.
9.143, the score for Jurassic Attack, just under Mike Christensen. So Mike gets a 9.241 for Jurassic, 9.143. So that eliminates Dalton Widener from the overall event championship. Mike Christensen still very much in that conversation. And next up, out of Christmas, Florida, Jamie Sullivan in Thor. Earlier tonight, Jamie Sullivan lost Mjolnir from the back of the truck. The truck looks a little bare without the God of Thunder's hammer flying around in the back.
Definitely looks a little interesting. But we know Thor's had problems with his hammer before, so hopefully he can get it done, or Jamie can get it done without the hammer on the back of that thing. Jamie starting off well here, carrying a little bit of momentum. I'd like to see her speed up a bit, but all these drivers know that it's all about that crescendo effect in the freestyle run. You start out a little bit on the slower side and make sure you end on an absolute high note.
Her only prior appearance at AT&T Stadium back in October of 2023 in Monster Mutt Dalmatian. She finished 7th overall, 5th in freestyle. 9 freestyle wins on the 2024 Arena Championship Series Central schedule. Made a name for herself at the All-Star Challenge back in last November in Anaheim. That really elevated her and put her on the map as a driver to watch in her second season. She is not disappointed. I am excited for her for year 3 in Sparkle Smash on the arena circuit. She is a threat to win a series championship.
Yeah, I think her pair with Sparkle Smash is going to be absolutely perfect. She's another one of those drivers that just exuberates, pretty and tough at the same exact time. Jamie Sullivan, looks like
Jamie Sullivan goes to the backflip ramp, and Thor goes up, and Thor lands hard, going to go back to backflip here, and she saves it. Save of the night so far, Jamie Sullivan goes over again, back to backflip, body parts of the truck on the track right now. She's got a flat tire. She popped that front right tire, and they are going to stop her here, but what a backflip. That's the first time we've seen somebody go over twice and save it.
Oh, man, she's trying to get out of the truck. She is hyped. She just got a double backflip. Oh, my goodness.
Jamie Sullivan putting everybody on notice here. Check out the Super Glue replay.
Okay, so she under-rotates the first backflip, is on the throttle very hard, and what that does is it gets the second rotation of that backflip to happen on the ground. You can see how hard she lands on that right front tire, just popping the BKT off the bead, and the crowd is absolutely loving it.
9.241 is the score to beat for Vendetta. Jamie Sullivan trying for her first career stadium freestyle win. 9.483. And we have a new leader, Jamie Sullivan in Thor, 9.483. And she is out in front. Vendetta drops to second. Jurassic Attack in third. Coming up, we are the second half of freestyle. More action from AT&T Stadium is on the way. Welcome back to Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, the home of the world-famous Dallas Cowboys. Tonight's home for Monster Jam. We appreciate all of you joining us all around the world watching tonight's action as we are halfway through the freestyle competition. Jamie Sullivan just took the lead from Mike Christensen. He is still in the driver's seat for the overall event championship, but right now Brandon Arthur in Ironman gets a turn. And he is going to come in hot, come right out, grab a jump. And Brandon Arthur now is starting to feel a rhythm here early on in his freestyle run.
Brandon Arthur starting out slow. Same exact thing Jamie just did. All just really matters about how you finish these Monster Jam runs, how you leave that crowd standing on their feet.
2 freestyle wins on the International Series in 2024. Last weekend in Houston, finished 7th in the freestyle competition. Second straight year we've seen Brandon Arthur competing on the International Series. He has done some spot events on the arena circuit in the U.S., now really coming into his own in Ironman.
You know, the way I think about Brandon Arthur is he hasn't had these crazy shining moments of just absolute stardom. But one of the things that I do love about the way Brandon drives is he's continuously getting better at a nice steady rate. He's not trying to really go out of his comfort zone too much. He's making sure he stays there, doesn't have very much breakage or truck wreckage at all, and he just keeps elevating himself each and every week by a little bit. You know, we see a lot of these drivers that have fantastic weekends, one weekend, and then the next weekend they're in the back. And that is not Brandon Arthur. He's always kind of in the mix. Yeah, he's not on the top, but he's always up in there.
Well, he is going up to the Morgan backflip. Brandon Arthur sends it over. And Ironman almost thought he was going to go for a moonwalk, tries it, flips it into reverse, and comes right back again. Ironman coming back to the track for more damage.
Yeah, nice backflip. Big air right there. Let's see if he can save it on one wheel. There goes one of the 4-link bars on that truck.
Yeah, front end going bye-bye on Ironman. The arc reactor's not going to save it here. Take a look at the original super glue glued to the action replay. Man, we're getting carnage after carnage on these landings.
Yeah, I love it. Brandon Arthur here with the backflip. Great rotation. And he just really is getting better and better. Here's this big air at the end. He's going to get a big bounce off to the left, and then you see that 4-link bar right there just snap off. He is going to be a star in a few years. Brandon Arthur getting better and better and just more comfortable.
Brandon Arthur now out of the truck as we see the dirt crew making some adjustments out there. The track crew trying to get Ironman upright. And the score coming in here from the Arlington fans. Brandon Arthur waving a great run here on the U.S. circuit. His first 3 U.S. stadium events now coming to an end for Brandon Arthur. And we are coming back here. We are 7 trucks in a freestyle. 5 more remain. Mike Christensen has the lead, but can he hold on? Find out next with more Monster Jam. We are back with more Monster Jam live event action from Arlington, Texas, just outside of Dallas at AT&T Stadium, a Monster Jam home. I have a lot of fond memories in this stadium. Adam, for me, my fondest memory of Arlington is when we came back out of the pandemic. This was the first sporting event that happened after the whole COVID thing went down. It was still going on. We did it very respectfully with partnership with the Dallas Cowboys, but we went in to AT&T Stadium, and we set a precedent. We set a bar with Monster Jam, and we had as many fans in there as we could. And when the trucks started coming out, I mean, I was emotional. We had a lot of staff members, a lot of guests in the crowd in tears because it was the first time we've been able to experience something like that. So when I look at Arlington Stadium or AT&T Stadium in Arlington, man, for me it's special because that was the moment where we brought sports back, and it was Monster Jam, it was the Dallas Cowboys, and everybody involved, and then everybody else around the world, all the dominoes started falling happening. And all these live events started happening again. All the sports happened again. And it was because of this stadium right here. So Arlington, AT&T Stadium, very special for me. And also they have a great barbershop out there too, man, right by the stadium. So some good haircuts as well. But any fond memories for you and AT&T?
Honestly, nothing I can think of, but my first thought when I was listening to you is that's what sports are all about, and that's what Monster Jam's about, is having those memories, you know, and that's what we try to do here at Monster Jam every single weekend with these freestyles, is make memorable moments for the crowd that they never forget, and hopefully we can see another one here.
Well, we're going to make some memories here with Chris Kohler and Brutus, and now we should talk about that freestyle competition a week ago where Chris Kohler had the lead, felt it slip right through his hands. We all saw the look on Chris Kohler's face when Adam Anderson's score was announced, and some frustration there for Chris. He had a great run, a great night for him, and he's had some great freestyle runs. And when I was talking to him earlier this week, he reminded me that he has 3 freestyle wins in 3 different trucks this year. Brutus is one of those. He won in Nashville, and winning that last freestyle competition in the Rod Ryan show would have given him 4 on the year in 4 different truck identities.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, he definitely was looking forward to, and I think he can get that done here tonight if he puts something special together, and I'm sure that's what his main focus is on.
His 6th Arlington start, his last was on March 2nd. He's been here in Axe, Monster Mutt, and Brutus. His best freestyle finish here was 4th. The 2023 Monster Jam Co-Rookie of the Year with Ashley Sanford. Chris Kohler in Brutus, trying to get that freestyle win here. We saw Jamie Sullivan with the run of the night. We've had 3 9s flying off the board for Vendetta as well, and Jurassic Attack. Chris Kohler comes off hard. Nice big slap there to get the slap wheelie combo in, and now Chris Kohler turning Brutus in for a backflip. It's like Oprah out here. You get a backflip. You get a backflip. Chris gets a backflip, and there goes Brutus. And he comes down hard, blows out the tires, but he's got a wheelie. Pops the wheelie right back up as far as he can go to the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramp. And that is going to do it for Brutus. Another carnage ending to a freestyle run.
Here we go with the backflip replay. You can see how much smoke and heat is coming out of the rear of that truck, trying to get that thing up there. Just so much torque on that rear end in that exact moment. But Chris able to pull off the backflip to wheelie combination move. And hopefully it bodes well with the fans. Do you think it's going to take the lead? I don't think so, but
I don't think
hopefully
it's going to take the lead. But a great run there for Chris in Brutus, and he continues to have freestyle run after freestyle run. I really expect a lot of freestyle wins in his future in the 2025 season. 8.235 is the score for Chris Kohler in Brutus. That's going to put him in 4th place. The lead still belongs to Jamie Sullivan. Mike Christensen, Vendetta, is in 2nd. Jurassic Attack in 3rd. But now we're going to start knocking on the door of more event championship contenders. And coming up next, Black Panther, Bari Musawir. He is 1 point off the overall event lead. We'll see if it continues. Avenger is coming up, Gravedigger as well, and the Amazing Spider-Man. All that and more next on Monster Jam. Welcome back to Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, where tonight we have had an amazing Monster Jam event. 8 trucks have entered the freestyle competition. 4 more remain. 3 are in contention for the overall event championship. We're going to take a look here at our top 6 in freestyle. 9.483 for Thor, Vendetta 9.241, Jurassic Attack 9.143, Brutus 8.235, Excalibur 8.214, and rounding out the top half, Iron Man with 7.836. I will say with Mike Christensen's run and Dalton Weiner's run, they have eliminated Camden Murphy from contention. So it is really at this point down to Vendetta, Black Panther, and Gravedigger for the event championship. And Bari Musawir is going to need help because he has 19 points as opposed to 20. And right now, as it stands, Mike Christensen currently 2nd in freestyle. So Bari would have to knock Mike down, and hopefully Weston Anderson would do the same. But right now, it's still anybody's game between those 3 trucks, and we're going to find out real quick, because out of Orlando, Florida, here comes Bari Musawir, Bari in Orlando, and now it's Bari in Arlington. Black Panther coming out for a freestyle run. Bari Musauer making his 8th start in Arlington, Texas. His last was back on March 2nd, where he won the overall event championship. He also won freestyle here that same night, so he is very capable of winning freestyle on this dirt. Doesn't seem to give him a problem, and we'll see if Black Panther can hold together long enough to get him a win. Bari usually very methodical in his freestyle run. Here's the trademark slap wheelie, making Arlington slap wheelie city, taking everybody there, and he goes right up onto the side of that step-up ramp. Black Panther now making his way across the near side of the track. And Bari lining up here for a big jump, comes off, gets some nice air, right overshoots the gap, and ends up right on top of the step up once again.
Listening to the truck, it sounds like it's running really good right now. He has good throttle rhythm. Bari Musauer, ooh, nice landing, little supercross action, landing on the back side of that thing. Sweet.
As Bari mentioned earlier when we talked playing double duty here this year, really one of the busiest, if not the busiest driver in Monster Jam, going from the Stadium Series to U.S. domestic events to all the way through the International Series, going from Black Panther to Zombie, back to Black Panther. He has had a busy year, and that's all going to lead him into 2025. This is not his Black Panther chassis that he has on the International Series. This is Zombie, so he is familiar with this truck, but a lot of issues, and we didn't see issues like that with Zombie throughout the season.
Yeah. The one thing with Bari is he's a very experienced driver. Here he comes into the backflip.
The 2024 Monster Jam Entertainer of the Year goes up on the backflip ramp.
Wow,
and right into a
perfect
moonwalk. So Bari puts a little oomph on the landing there, gets a moonwalk. It's a big air to follow. Just clips the right side on that jump and now comes up over the 8-pack. Can't go over it, so he's going to go around it.
Trying to figure out this track. Just that little bit. Bari Musauer having to back up, slow his momentum down, but here's a big jump for the crowd.
Big time air for Bari Musauer right up over the cars. And that'll do it for Black Panther. So a nice consistent run for Mr. Consistency. And we'll see if that can net Bari the freestyle lead and the overall event championship. And we're going to check out our original Super Glue glued to the action replay.
Here he comes in with the backflip, perfect rotation, hits the brakes in the air, gets a little bit of a moonwalk, and then here right at the end of his run, big jump, big bounce, keeps it under control. Bari Musauer definitely pumped with that run.
Scores coming in from Arlington right now. 8.803. That's going to put Black Panther into 4th place. And that is going to keep the event championship within Mike Christensen's grasp at the moment. We are down to our final 3 trucks. Jim Kohler, Avenger, Weston Anderson, Gravedigger, and Camden Murphy, the amazing Spider-Man. So Avenger now gets an opportunity. Jim Kohler going to come out to the track. Really, the event championship, Adam, is down to Mike Christensen and Weston Anderson. That's where we're at. And I'm now good at math when I'm on television and when I'm doing live math, but that's where my math has me at right now.
I think
is that Mike Christensen, the event championship, is down to Mike, and it's down to Weston. So either way, we're going to get the Team Throttle Monster story, and Mike with a big bounce-back weekend, getting the event championship, taking that trophy home to Utah, or we're going to get Weston Anderson coming into Gravedigger 42 for the first time and keeping that truck undefeated.
I mean, Weston Anderson can definitely do it here tonight, but Mr. Excitement is on the track.
Mr. Excitement is on the track. And I mentioned that classic green look from Avenger. Love the look of that truck here in Arlington. The 7-time Extreme Air Award winner, 2-time Freestyle champion at World Finals, 3-time Stadium Freestyle of the Year winner, including this year, 2024. Jim Kohler still getting it done. He will be entering his 29th season behind the wheel of Avenger. Big air right over the cars into a nose wheel. He creases the front 2 wheels down the ramp.
Nice jump there, just came up a little bit short and capitalized on it. Got a little two-wheel skills out of that jump. Nice run so far for Jim Kohler here. Definitely getting the crowd on their feet early. That's what you're going to have to do to get one of those big 9 scores.
Jim did not get a freestyle run in last week in Houston. We saw Jim a little close to the wall. A lot of fans speculating as to what caused it. I did see one of his team members, Tyler, on social media telling everybody they were having truck issues going into that freestyle run and just couldn't get him out on the track.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a difficult situation when you're having truck issues and trying to figure out what was going on. And, you know, it's just so unfortunate. Jim has so much experience.
Jim Kohler going for the Morgan backflip. Avenger with some big air. Up on the backflip. He comes off with a 4 BKT tire bounce. And Jim Kohler clipping the backflip ramp, not going to stop him up over the cars. Mr. Excitement going extreme here in Avenger.
Yeah, this is definitely the way you end a run. Jim Kohler laying it all on the line. But, yeah, just so much experience in Jim Kohler. If he could have been out there last week, he would have figured out a way. Jim doing a little donut there and just holding the truck wide open. You can hear that thing just continuously on. See if he can get one more hit in before the end of the run.
Jim Kohler going cattywampus in Avenger now. Comes right up over, going for a bicycle. Just slides the undercarriage of that truck all the way across the edge of that pod. And that'll do it for Avenger. So a nice run, big air on the backflip, maybe the biggest backflip we've seen tonight as far as air up off the ramp goes. And we will take a look at the original Super Glue replay for Jim Kohler and Avenger.
Here he comes in with the backflip. Under rotation, just a slight bit, but good enough for a solid landing. Then gets the donut, and I like what he did there. He comes out of the donut, holds the truck wide open, and just continues his run. So great job by Jim, just keeping the momentum up throughout the entire freestyle run.
Jim Kohler trying to take the freestyle lead. 8.135 is the score. That puts him in 7th place. We got another competitor coming up here. Weston Anderson, Gravedigger, tied at the top of the leaderboard. Coming into the competition with 20. It's very simple here. He beats a 9.241. Weston Anderson wins the event championship. If he does not, Mike Christensen takes the win. A lot of talk from Adam Anderson and about Adam Anderson switching from retiring Gravedigger 35, one of the favorite trucks for a lot of these Gravedigger drivers to get into because of how fast it was, how easy it was to drive, and how wide open that truck would let them run. And a lot of talk about Adam bringing Gravedigger 42. We didn't know what to expect. So far through 2 weekends, this truck undefeated in the Oral Event Championship. Weston Anderson has a chance to get the hat trick here and make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, and, you know, Gravedigger 35 is nostalgic, and it's just so famous because of what you were talking about. But that also comes from the guy that's driving it. You know, Adam Anderson set that truck up so well, and that's really the difference. You know, when I was racing Supercross, there was guys that can set up dirt bikes and really know what's going on with the suspension, what's going on with the motor, how to tune it, and they're just more in tune with the trucks. And that's Adam Anderson. That's why everybody loves getting into Adam Anderson's trucks, is because he's so good at knowing exactly what is good, that he's great at setting up the truck and great at communicating to his technicians. It looks like the truck is leaning heavy to the right there.
He's going to try to clock it back here. If he lands it hard, it might clock over, and he did try to land it hard to the left to get it straightened up.
Comes up slightly short, trying to get it turned, but still leaning off to the right a little bit.
If he is going to win this competition, he's got to start getting that ragged edge Gravedigger style into the run and throw caution to the wind. He's feeling it right now. Comes up a little hard on the brakes. And here comes Weston Anderson up again. Brake check. Keeps the truck on the back end of it to land it. And he's got Black Panther right in front of him. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue here.
It looks like the left rear tire's kicked out. There could be a breakage there.
And he is unbuckling. That is going to do it. And we may just have seen Vendetta win the overall event championship. We will await the scores here. First, we'll take a look at the Super Glue Glue to the Action replay.
I want to see that left rear tire from Weston Anderson. I don't know if it was turn because of the rear steer. Here's his first hit, gets a big bounce, gets the truck under control. Great job. And then right here, hits the brakes hard and turns that thing around nicely, whips it around, and then that last jump there tweaks the rear end of that truck. I don't know if it's a rear steer issue, but hopefully we'll get some reports.
8.146 for Weston Anderson, 7th place. So Weston can't get up in there, that 9 range. Jamie Sullivan, Thor has the freestyle lead. And let's not lose any of that in the hype here for Vendetta. This would be Jamie Sullivan's first stadium freestyle win. She comes out the week with Thor getting the Great Clip Skills win last week, and now she has a chance to do it again in freestyle. 9.483 is the score to beat. 9.241 from Vendetta, Jurassic Attack in 3rd, Black Panther 4th, Brutus in 5th, and Excalibur in the top half.
You know, and that's what I talked about, is Jamie Sullivan coming out here. She got that 2-wheel skills win. She was really fast in racing a few weeks ago, and tonight she's coming out and her aim was on freestyle, and hopefully she can come away with the win and check another box on the rise of Jamie Sullivan.
We still have one more competitor left in freestyle. Camden Murphy, the amazing Spider-Man, will get a go here to close out the competition. We'll see how Camden does. When it comes to history in Arlington, we talked about the racing history at the top of the show. His best finish overall was 2nd as he makes his 6th Arlington start. He did win freestyle here back in 2019 behind the wheel of Bakugan Dragonoid, so he has done it, and he can take a win away from Jamie Sullivan.
Love the look of this truck, the webs on the wheels there, solid livery. Oh, gets a little crab walk there. That could be a rear steer issue.
I think he's just trying to slide the truck a little bit, trying to make something happen. Slinky off the pod goes to the amazing Spider-Man.
Rear
comes
steer
back
issues.
again. Absolutely right. I thought maybe he was just trying to do something special, and instead it is the rear steer getting the best of the amazing Spider-Man. So Camden's going to end up on the side, and that is going to be an early ending of the freestyle run. Camden Murphy, though, has had a great couple of weekends from Glendale, Houston, and Arlington. Look forward to 2025 for Camden Murphy.
So what happened there, we're going to check out the replay, but the rear steer is like a toggle button, and what they do is they hit that rear steer to the left and to the right, and it's supposed to snap back to center. And I think what happened there is when he hit the rear steer to get that thing to turn, he was expecting it to snap back straight, and it just didn't snap back straight. Unfortunate for Spider-Man and Camden Murphy. But wow, what a night for Jamie Sullivan and Mike Christensen.
So that means Jamie Sullivan, Thor, going to win the freestyle competition. 9.483 gets it done. Vendetta finishing 2nd will land Mike Christensen his 2nd career stadium overall event championship. What a night, what a week for Jamie Sullivan has been, coming off the Great Clip Skills win last weekend in Houston. Now to get a freestyle win in Arlington, Texas has been good to Thor. And we are going to go down to the track here in just a second to join Kay Young and Jamie Sullivan.
Jamie, congratulations. This is your first stadium career freestyle win. What does this mean to you?
This means so much. You know, coming out here and getting the opportunity to run any of these stadium events is so awesome. But to come out with another win in freestyle, doing a double backflip, I've never even landed the trench box backflip, but to do that, I am so pumped for it. But you know what? These UNH technicians, they've been killing it back there, making sure these trucks are ready to run, and we laid it down tonight. Put that Thor right here in the dirt.
Congratulations. It was amazing to freestyle run. You earned your first 12 points of the night. We're going to accumulate that all, and we are going to crown an overall event champion. Let's take a look at the video board.
Coming up next, we are going to hear from our overall event champion, Jamie Sullivan, with a great win. But it is Thor with 9.483. She gets it done. Vendetta 9.241. Jurassic Attack 9.143. That's your top 3. Vendetta is your champion. And we will hear from Mike Christensen next on Monster Jam. Welcome back to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where we have just concluded a fantastic Marble Monster Jam live event. Jamie Sullivan getting the stadium freestyle win under her belt in Thor, as we take a look at her overall event champion with 11 points in racing, 9 in skills, and 11 more in freestyle for 31 overall event points. Your overall event champion, Mike Christensen, in Vendetta, gets his second career stadium overall event championship, his first since Minneapolis last year in 2023. Right now, let's go back to Kay Young to hear from our overall event winner.
From redemption, getting back into JCB racing, to throwing down an epic freestyle. Congratulations.
Yeah, you know, last week wasn't my best week. There was a guy that was kind of saying some not so good things to me. I heard it, I read about it, I added him to my vendetta list, I reevaluated what I needed to do, and I just proved to you and everybody else that Mike Christensen, Vendetta 2025, we're coming for every single one on ST2 next year.
Congratulations to you. Let's hear for your overall event champion, Mike Christensen, Vendetta.
You were on the Vendetta list. Let's go, Mike! He called you out, man. You told him to reevaluate his equipment. He reevaluated it all the way to the overall event championship.
Well, you know, this is the thing that I love about that. You know, Chris took the things that I said, he was upset about them, and he wanted to go out and prove me wrong. And that's exactly what he did. And you have to give credit where credit is due, and that is to you, Mike Christensen. Congratulations on your overall event win. What this man can do with a perfect truck is unbelievable, and I am looking forward to 2025.
Team Throttle Monster, always a top independent team, always a top team, period, in Monster Jam. And Mike Christensen, even Dalton Wider today, come out in a big way and make a lot of noise. Mike Christensen with the overall event championship. There is that freestyle backflip. He came out first, and he absolutely nailed it, setting the bar high, and he never looked back.
Yeah, just an unbelievable run, start to finish, from Mike Christensen. The way he drove that truck tonight, you could tell, we could tell in the booth that he had a vendetta out. And, you know, sometimes as an athlete, that's what you need, just that little bit of extra motivation. And tonight, he brought every ounce of his talent out and showed what he's going to do in 2025.
And I think he will continue to have that picture of you inside the cab in 2025, man. But what a great night. Jamie Sullivan wins the freestyle competition. Weston Anderson came out and won racing, and then Dalton Wider with his second skills win. And let's touch on Dalton for a second, because he's got 2 skills wins. We know he can race, and we know he's a good freestyle driver as well. Dalton is a guy that, if he can put it all together, can really make some noise along with Mike on that stadium series.
Yeah, I mean, Dalton is just a fantastic driver, and we've seen him progress in these 3 rounds. And I think he really will be a force to be reckoned with next season. And, man, it's been such a fun night. It's been such a good 3 rounds.
And they're 1 and 2 at the top of the leaderboard. 31 for Vendetta, 30 for Jurassic Attack. Black Panther bounces back strongly with 28. Gravedigger 26. Thor 24. And Iron Man with 19. There's your top 6 in the BKT overall event standings. But you're absolutely right. It's been a fun 3 weeks as you and I got a chance to take over these Monster Jam live streams. We ushered the Marvel Monster Jam era back in London last year, and it's only fitting that you and I get to usher it back out in 2024.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And these 3 rounds have been so much excitement, from Mike Christensen in the Vendetta to Jamie Sullivan really just showing her talent, Camden Murphy and Spider-Man, Bari putting up some really fast times. It's going to be a fun 2025.
Well, listen, it's Halloween week. I hope everybody has a happy and safe Halloween. Thanks for joining us from all over the world, wherever you are. We do appreciate it, and we are looking forward to a fantastic 2025 season. We will see you on television and right here on our live streams. For Adam Entignap, I'm Scott Jordan. We will see you right here next time on Monster Jam. Have a great Halloween. Have a great rest of your year, and we'll see you in 2025. Thanks again for joining us in Arlington, Texas for Monster Jam. Good night from the Monster Jam studio.